Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the channel Stock Markets with Bruce. It's Uncle Bruce here, your Uncle Bruce. Your long lost Uncle Bruce. How's it going, everybody? Nice to see you. Good to have you here this morning. It's Wednesday, the middle of the week, as we try to pound our way through another week. Good to have you here. Double check my mute button there. Don't want to hear myself twice. Good morning, everybody. Nice to have you coming by. The futures for the market were opening in an hour. The Dow is up 90 on the pre-market. S&P is showing a 12-point gain, and Nasdaq looks like 39 from what I can tell you. Over at the folks at Bitcoin, 45,600 down $1,600. They reached 48,000 or something. So there's to be expected. We should have some profit taking, and we're getting some right now. Welcome everybody from around the world. Appreciate you catching up with me. I love it when you tell me where you're watching me from. Here in Creston, British Columbia, Canada, it's cold. We have a cold front here. We are right now at 7 Fahrenheit. We were as low as 0. We're going to be at -4 tonight Fahrenheit. High of 12 tomorrow. Today we might reach 19. So we're going to be 12 tomorrow, colder, 16 on Friday, 19 on Saturday, and then next week we recover back into the 30s. As a matter of fact, a week from now, 37 Fahrenheit for the high. So this cold snap will come, we'll go and move on, and we'll gladly take that. Our sunset now is 5:58. We have gained an hour and 10 minutes of daylight since the shortest day of the year. In roughly mid-December or so, as far as sunset time goes. So really happy about that. We're gaining about 2 to 2.5 minutes a day of daylight now, as we're coming back from the depths of the dark winters. Thank you for seeing me today. Nice to have you all here. What questions are coming in? People want to know a couple of answers. Watching the channel, good morning, Bruce. Is GHVI still a buy at this price? Is the price likely to come down in the next few days? GHVI is the Gore Holdings number 6 SPAC I was talking about. This is the company that is merging with the planned merger with Matterport, which is a 3D imaging software company. And this deal is being liked by traders. But I got to say, last night, it was as high as $20 a share in the aftermarket. And I prefer to get this stock around the 15-16 mark, kind of, because I'm just that way. I like to buy low and sell high. It's right now $18.93 on the pre-market. It closed to $16.69 last night on the markets, and then in the aftermarket reached 20, but now at just under 19. So it's doing well. I would suggest, though, that if you're going to be a buyer of this stock because of the merger, I would wait today or tomorrow and just see if, as the next few days go by, the news has been done now a day and a half ago. We got to give it a couple of days to kind of ease off a little bit, and the hype will calm down, and maybe, just maybe, these shares will come back into this maybe 15, 16 range, and then you can pick it up from there. There's no rush to get it this second, because I don't think it's going to go straight up or anything like that from here. But patience is your key here. The other one that I like, of course, is the Virgin Group Acquisition Corp, VGAC, the other SPAC. That's the Richard Branson SPAC. That one is trading on the pre-market at $14.75. That's just about where it closed last night, dropping 78 cents yesterday. This is now in the buy zone, anywhere between under $15 a share. You can buy this thing, and you're going to end up owning shares in 23andMe. That will be the merged company once that merger goes through. Both of these deals have been announced, and I like them. So patience, my friends. If you're buyers, you're the boss. If you're the buyer of a security, you're actually the one in charge. You decide the price you're prepared to pay, and if the stock comes to you, fine. If it doesn't come to you, the heck with them. You don't chase a stock if you're going to be a medium and long-term investor. Sometimes you have to just be all the time. You have to be a patient buyer, because in this business, like real estate, You make your money when you buy. That is the secret here, and you get the stock at the price you're comfortable with. And if it's a couple of dollars overpriced, you just sit back, hold your arms, and wait, because then you're well paid for your time to wait. I think a lot of people underestimate how much they're worth. This is the thing that I had when I was a branch manager of a brokerage firm, and I had 25 brokers and 15 support staff. I was desperately trying to train my young guys, my new brokers, even my veterans who had been around for 30 years. I was trying to explain to these guys how valuable their time was with respect to what they were doing all day long, and they just didn't think of it in this way. You as a stock buyer, if you're thinking of buying 100 shares of one of these two companies I'm mentioning that are trading between 14 and 16 bucks a piece, if you can save $2 a share by buying lower, in the case of Gore Holdings, that's a $200 gain to you in the end. In other words, the stock has to move $200 less or $2 a share less in order for you to make money on it, because you bought lower. You didn't chase it right off the get-go. You sat back, you let the stock calm down, you realize that an announcement comes out and there's all kinds of hype for about 24, 48 hours around the story. It gets spread to a whole bunch of news sites and vlogs and blogs, and maybe a weekend of promotion happens as well. It all depends on just how well promoted the stock is. And then a couple of days later after that, other stories pop up that take away the attention. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the people who have short attention spans to be shown another set of keys, and they're going, oh, I'm going over there. And these shares begin to back off because of lack of exposure. Only natural. And that's when you pick your spot, and you sit back and you just patiently wait. And if you like the story and you like the end game, which in this case is a merger of two corporations that will become a much larger, well-funded, cash-rich company, that's the one you want to be in. Why not pay $2.50 less a share than others? The Virgin story, VGAC, those shares reached $16, $17. They're back now to $14.70. So there are people who are following me and hope taking my advice. Some say they're doing it exactly as I'm telling them to do it. They're buying the stock at $2 to $2.50 less than the hype right after the announcement was made. And for 100 shares, $1,400 investment, $1,500 investment, you're $200 to $250 better off. Well, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you think about what $200 means to a $1,400 acquisition price, you're talking 15% cheaper. So, how many of you go to the grocery store and want to buy your favorite item and it's not on sale, and you wait and say, I'm going to wait till tomorrow? I love buying my caffeine-free Diet Cola. Thanks, everybody, for supporting me. I love buying my caffeine-free Diet Coke. I got to buy them now in these 2-liter bottles because I can't find them in cans. But if the bottle is $2.69 a piece, I revolt. I go, I'm not paying $2.69 for a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola. You out of your mind? But if it's 2 for $4, or if it's 3 for $5, I'm a happy guy. Now I'm paying $1.70. I buy 5 bottles, 6 bottles. I'm a genius. I'm a real smart shopper. And then I add it up and I go, way to go, Bruce, on saving some money. But you're saving $5. It's not going to change your life, but it adds up. But on a stock purchase, if you can buy for 15% off shares, that works out to $200 to $250 less out of your pocket. The shares just going back to the hype price, $17, $18. You're already $250 ahead of the game. Everyone else is barely even, and they go up a couple more dollars after that. They reach the 20 mark, and you're sitting there going, "I'm up almost $550 a share here. I'm up $550." Where my contemporaries are only up about $300. And this is the name of the game: is buying low to sell high. And if they want to go to $30 a share, if that's what happens, fantastic. Everyone's a winner, but you're a bigger winner. That's the bottom line. You're just a bigger winner. And you do 10 trades like that over a couple of years, And every time you're $2,000 to $4,000, $200 to $2,000 ahead of others, depending on how many shares you acquire, if it's 100 or 500 or 1,000, that adds up to a ton of money that just compounds, and that's how the rich get richer. You got to be a smart, patient buyer. Anyway, those are the two SPACs I've been talking about. Let's talk about GameStop today, right now, right off the get-go here. GameStop came out. I guess the short numbers have finally come out for all of the shares out there that we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for all kinds of short positions to be released, and finally the GameStop numbers have come out. The shares right now are $51.85, up $1.54. And by the way, thank you all of you who are here. How many are you here right now? We've got 968. Thank you for popping in, and please give thumbs ups to the show. Let's get this show going right now with some thumbs ups, get some momentum right away. We are now looking at, as of the 29th of January, the report now says that the short interest in the stock, 21.4 million shares, which would represent about 41.95, let's call it 42% of the free trading shares out there. That's the number that came out just last night. Finally, we now have the figure. So if you go back a month or so, the short interest number was 70 million. The short interest number is now 21 million. I found that interesting because, yes, a month ago, there were roughly 70 million shares outstanding and 70 million shorted. Today, there are 70 million outstanding and only 21 million shorted. That's telling me that a month ago, there were 140 million shares of GameStop floating around out there that people can buy and sell in theory, of which only 50 million from the company side were free trading because there are shares restricted for trading that are held by insiders. They have to file and all that, so they can't just free trade it. So only 50 million were free trading, but there were 70 million free trading short shares out there. So there was 120 million actual float a month ago. 2 weeks ago, that went down to 110 million. Today, that number now is 71 million. So the actual free floating stock that can practically change hands, but won't, 71 million shares. And that's a positive for GameStop because when you have fewer shares that could trade and you have any kind of a corporate event that is of any decent kind, you'll have some buying interest, and there are fewer shares with which to get to, move the market. Still, people are asking, well, yeah, what does this mean, Bruce? I mean, is this going to create a short squeeze? Are we going to go higher? 50 million shorts have been covered, according to this report, as of the 29th of January. This is now the 10th of February, so it's kind of old news, but it's an indication of what was going on. There was a squeeze and a panic by short sellers to buy back their stock between the 15th of January and the 29th of January. That 2-week window is where a lot of buying came, and those shares disappeared from the free float because shorters bought back their stock and didn't re-short another bunch of stock. 50 million shares were bought back, approximately 40-something million, were bought back by short sellers and not reissued again. The stock, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, it went from $20-30 a share to $400, and now has drifted back down to this $51 range we're at now. The bottom line, though, is if the shorters want to get the remaining shares that they're short, where are they going to get them from? It's getting harder and harder to buy big amounts of stock from loose hands to cover a short position. The good news for the short sellers right at this moment in time, this second in time, is that because the shares have had a pullback, and of course the media, watching TV and following other outfits out there, the media has just been slamming every retail investor they can find to call them stupid. That people who bought at 200, 300, and that's not true. Most retail investors didn't buy the stock at $200 and $300 and $400 a share. A lot of retail investors have had the stock from $5, $10, $20 a share, and either traded it on the way out and then bought some on the way back. But the bottom line is that every retail investor, as far as I can see, that holds the stock now, I would say 90% of them hold the stock in a cash position. But at 51.70, the media is going, you see, all you guys lost all your money. Well, then why isn't it back to $15, $20 a share? It's just not there. It's at 51 because there's a shortage of stock to buy overall with respect to how many shares are shorted. To still have a 42% short position, it doesn't sound as sexy as a 140% short position, but 42% short position is still very, very high. And the reality is these 21.4 million shares are not easily found right now because of the 51 million that actually could trade, theoretically could be trading. A vast majority of those, I would say over 40 million of those, are held by loyalists in the company. These are the loyal investors who are not going to be shaken out. They're the ones who are saying, we know what these guys are doing. We know these guys are shifting to an e-commerce platform, and we're going to give them the time to do so. And those are not available. So that leaves 10 million shares that might actually be free trading that the 21 million short shares need to get. Because at the end of the day, to have a zero short position would mean that there are 70 million shares in existence, 50 million theoretically free trading. That will never change. Well, these 21 million have to find 21 million shares to get back. And I have a suspicion that with 51 million free trading, 21 million shorted, that's a 70 million position, there might only be 60 million, that 60 million of them are actually in pretty strong hands. And only, like I said, 10 of the 60 or 10 of the 70 can actually trade. Unfortunately, there is no demand for the stock at this moment in time, this second in time, that is overpowering the sellers to run it up at this moment. I would love to hear another corporate update from the company. We know a bunch of corporate updates are coming because they're going to release their year-end financials, which are being put together right now by the auditors. They finished their year-end the end of January. So that was 10 days ago. So the auditors have been all over the books to put together the annual report, the financials. Now that usually takes 15 to 30 days, is not uncommon for an auditor to do all the due diligence and dot the I's and cross the T's and identify all the deals that have been done and contracts that have been signed, and to reveal all the details of compensation to executives and executives who've come and gone and all this stuff. This takes time. There are securities lawyers working, there are auditors working, bookkeepers working, and there's an army of people working on the numbers right now. And the company will release all that, of course. They will comment on it. They will answer questions about it. But in the meantime, the shares will do what they do as they try to figure out where they're going. In the aftermarket, we're up $1 a share. They were as low as 48 this morning, a couple hours ago. Then they reached like 53 and a half. And right now they're 51.42. So the bias all morning has been more or less to the upside since about 7 o'clock. Looks like 7 o'clock Eastern time. And we're now at 8:50 Eastern time. That's where I see GameStop at this moment. I have other news about GameStop for you. Those of you who are here, 1,500 of you are here. Welcome to the show. It's Bruce, your Uncle Bruce, Stock Markets with Bruce, trying to explain to you the market in plain English. And here's some more plain English for you for GameStop. So you bear with me now, because I'm going to take some kind of complicated stuff and try to make it real easy to understand. I wanted to mention that I read an article that came out last night that I saw on the internet, and it was from a commentator. I don't believe it's a stock analyst as far as a brokerage firm's stock analyst. This is a commentator, which there are many. And some of them are really good. And this gentleman went into some interesting details about GameStop, and he wanted to talk about the future of the company. Forget about 5 years ago being brick and mortar. He wanted to talk about the chewy phenomena that's happening with GameStop, that Ryan Cohen and associates of his have joined the board. He is now stealing staff from his former company that is an online master at selling pet supplies, and is beating Amazon at their own game because they are out servicing the customer over Amazon and other online sellers. The Chewy company, being public, is a $40 billion market cap company, still doesn't make any money. Is quickly about to make money. They're quickly coming to the plus side of the ledger, but they're like this close to starting to turn the corner. But even losing money, they're at $40 billion market cap. So take all the shares, multiply by the stock price, 40 billion. GameStop right now market cap is 4.1 billion, so 1/10 the value. All right. So he wanted to talk about the digitization, the commerceization, I'm making up words, of GameStop. And a very interesting little paragraph was deep in the middle of the article that I dug this out because I love little gems like this. The gem that I found was that it's not uncommon for e-commerce companies, for their shares to trade at a multiple, but not of earnings, but of sales. So your gross sales, you take a multiple, multiply it by a certain multiple, there's a number, you divide that into the number of shares outstanding, and that's where the shares are trading at. So if you look at several companies out there who are e-commerce companies, and you just use that metric, you come out with a sales multiple rather than a PE multiple. And in the market, in the stock market, it is an accepted form of a guesstimation of what the company is worth and could be worth. All right. So it's not uncommon for companies out there to trade at 10 times sales that are e-commerce companies. 10 times sales. Now, I took that number and I thought, well, what's GameStop trading at right now? What's the multiple of GameStop like right now at $50 a share? Less than 1. It's like 0.8. 2 years ago, GameStop sales, gross sales, over $8 billion a year with a B. 8 billion were their gross sales. But that was from 5,600 stores around the world, and they're shifting out of that. Last report we got at holiday time, back in November, December, when they talked then, they were saying that their online sales were now $1.3 billion in a small window of time. It was like the holiday time frame. That represented 34% of their sales, 1.3 billion. They were expecting 1 billion. That's what they had guessed, but they came in at 1.35. This is before Ryan Cohen has converted this company. This isn't even, we're not even there yet, okay? Well, I just took that number. I just went with it. I said, okay, well, let's just take that number, okay? Mr. Conservative that I like to be. Why don't you take 1.3 billion and multiply that by 10 times sales? That's $13 billion. Why don't you divide that into all the shares that are outstanding? 70 million shares. What would the stock be trading at if it was a 10 times e-commerce sale company only? And forget all the other sales that they're doing, the other 4.5 billion. 180 to $200 a share. That's what I'm coming up with. Of course, the company has already stated and has made it be known that with the moves that they have made and the personnel they're bringing in and the money they're spending on developing their e-commerce network, they expect their e-commerce sales to become a larger proportion of their company. And in the long run, they think they'll do more sales on e-commerce than they ever did as a publicly traded brick and mortar company, which was at one time $8 billion in sales. I'm not even going back 5 or 10 years when they did more than that. I'm just saying in the last 24 months. So I thought, okay, well, so if they can double their sales to 2.6 billion for a year, if their annual e-commerce sales are 2.6 billion, that would put the stock at between 360 and 400 a share. And now we know now you might now get it. Why did activist investors buy up stock when it was $4 or $5 a share a year and a half ago? Why did activist investors insist a year and a half, 2 years ago, way before Mr. Cohen came on board, way before? Why did they insist to the board of directors, we want you to change out the old board and put in some new blood here that are savvy with what's coming, e-commerce being the main, and we want you to shift the business and free up cash flow and offload underperforming stores, and if possible, unload stores entirely and go e-commerce. Why did they insist and get the company to use 170 odd million of its own money back in 2019 to buy back stock on the open market at an average of $5.16? They bought 34 million shares off the street. Free trading stock was purchased by the company itself in chunks. They just slowly kept buying it up until they took 34 million shares off the market. So the company went from 105 million shares outstanding to today's 70 million outstanding. That's a 30-something% drop in stock. That's why the short sellers, who were short 70 million when there were 105 million out, now we're all of a sudden short 70 million when there's only 70 million out. That's where that came from. And of course, only 50 million were free trading when there used to be 85 million free trading. Then there's only 50 million free trading. And all of a sudden, these shorters are hanging out here. They're upside down 20 million shares. They're still upside down 20 million shares right now. Because to get those back, you got to get them from the 50 million that are up there. Good luck. And so insiders and activists started buying the stock along with the company. And Mr. Cohen comes in and buys up 9 million free trading shares back in November, December, and becomes a 13% shareholder, board member with two of his Chewy people. And now they're really on a fast track to convert. When will the analysts in Wall Street begin to call this company an e-commerce company? When are they going to do it? The day that happens, the moment that these analysts begin to go, okay, all right, we're not going to call them an e-commerce, not going to call them brick and mortar anymore. We're going to refer to this company as an e-commerce seller of gaming systems and games and all the other work that they do. And we're going to acknowledge that their website has been completely transformed from being a kind of an accessory to the business to being the business of GameStop globally, rather than just to help the stores out with the product. Now it's like the force, and it is the global force. And we're going to now talk about the PE multiple, or the ratio, the sales ratio. We're going to now quote the company, the potential of this company on a sales ratio. Well, you take the numbers right now at the number we have, the only number we've got is 1.3 billion in sales, online sales, which I think was the third quarter. That values it at $180 to $200 a share. And that's why the activists are in there. They're not in there to get it to $20 from $10. They're not in there to get it at 5, 10, 15 to go to 30, 35, 40. That's not what they're there for. They're not there for the stock to even go to $200 or $300 a share. It's just done that. You see any of them selling? None of the current management tried to sell any of the stock that they had. They were worth billions of dollars. They didn't sell a single share because they couldn't, number one, because they're restricted. And number two, they're in for the long haul. The long haul is much further down the road than $300 or $400 a share, much further down the road. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, what if these guys in 2 years start selling $8 billion worth of stuff like they used to sell $8 billion worth of stuff, but online to a global market, 10 times sales, $8 billion, that's an $80 billion valuation for the company. That's $1,000 a share, $1,100 a share. That's just where they were. That's all they're trying to convert to what they were going forward in an e-commerce version, and then grow from there. They're not interested in even hitting $8 billion in sales. I think they want to hit 20 billion in sales. I'm talking 5 years down the road, 10 years down. They want to get to 20 billion in sales. And if they keep their stock count under 100 million, we're talking $2,000 a share, and there'll be splits. There'll be splits and all of that. But that's their game plan. That's why they're in there. These are 30 to 50-year-old people who have loads of experience. They know their business, they know their craft, they know the market, they're game fanatics, they love the business, and they have a vision. And this is what corporately, I think, again, my opinion, this is what I think is going on. And 51.46 right now, they couldn't care less. They would like to be higher, but they know it really ain't going to go a lot lower. And if it goes much lower, there'll be insiders buying this thing, my opinion. But the plan moving forward is much larger. And if they only were to trade at the same valuation of Chewy, company that doesn't make money yet, then this company would be 10 times more valuable. Because right now, GameStop is valued at 4.1 billion market cap. That is a tiny public company. I am talking to you about SPACs that are becoming merged and going public. And I'm talking to you guys about SPACs that are worth $3 billion the minute they become a public company for the very first time. SPACs buying an existing private company, 3.5 billion in value. This company is 4.1 billion total market cap. This thing is cheap if you vision the company where they want to take it. It might be expensive if you call it a failing brick and mortar player. Fair point. Fair point. I don't begrudge any analyst for saying I can't get over it. I just we lost money on this stock from 2014 and 15 and 16. We were recommending these guys when they were $30 a share, $35 a share 6 years ago, and it went all the way down to $4 a share, and they disappointed us. Okay, all right, but those managers are gone. They're not there anymore. There may be a handful of people left on the GameStop management team that were there back in 2014-15. Those people are gone. It's the new management you got to talk about now. It's the new management you have to speculate about. What can these new kids do, and where can they take it? Did they hire a bunch of 85-year-old creepy old men? No, they're bringing in 32-year-old, 34-year-old whiz kids who are in the game of social media, online selling, e-commerce excellence, and they're stealing the best they can get from Amazon and Chewy and other corporations to bring them onto this company. And they're not having too much trouble attracting talent, because the talent is going, I want to be with Mr. Cohen. I'm going to take the Ryan Cohen train for a ride. You betcha, because I can't take the Jeff Bezos train for a ride. He's retiring. He's done for, and I'll never meet the guy. I'm employee number 600,054 at Amazon. Forget me ever seeing this guy. But over at GameStop, if I join the company in the technology, the IT department, in the marketing department, in the fulfillment department, I'm employee number 80 out of the future. I want to be there. I want to be one of the first 1,000 employees of GameStop in the e-commerce division. That's where I want to be, because I'll get stock options right here, right now. And what's the potential of this company? If it only does what Chewy did, and Chewy isn't done yet, then it's a 10-time gain. Then it's a $500 stock. If it only does what Chewy's doing, and Chewy is not making money yet, I keep having to throw this out at you guys. They're not making a profit, and their value, if you compare it to GameStop, 10 times. If they and Chewy together in the next 3 years, Chewy starts making $3 a share or selling whatever, then GameStop will value just as highly. Once the street figures out, these guys are becoming digital. Anyway, there you have it. There's my take on it. If you own GameStop, I'm praying you own it cash only. Do not margin a dime. Do not buy call options on GameStop. Buy the stock, put it away, sit on it, watch and learn, and just let them be what they are going to become. I think you'll be rewarded, but Can I guarantee you that between today and 5 days from now, you will double your money or triple it? No. Can I guarantee you that the stock might or might not back off further and then go higher and go into a range? I can guarantee you it'll find a range. Has it found its range for the next 90 days? I don't know. You're going to have to ask me in 90 days. We'll look back and go, oh, yeah, well, when Bruce was talking about it back on February the 10th, it was at 51.60, and it kind of, it's been between 45 and 65 ever since. That could be the truth. That could be it. But it could be in a month from now, a week from now, 3 months from now, 6 weeks from now, an analyst who's never covered the stock before, not an existing, the non-current analyst, will come out and say, I've just taken a look at this company, and I'm not here to talk to you about what GameStop was doing in 2015, because it's irrelevant to the stock price today, and it's totally irrelevant to what the stock price will be worth in 2022, 2024. As an analyst, I am telling you that with Ryan Cohen doing what he's doing, bringing the team in that he's bringing in, and evolving the corporation to where it's headed with e-sales right now, today, I'm telling you that my target price for the next 12 months will be, boom, right there, 300 a share, 200 a share, 175 a share. I think it'll be higher. I just don't see analysts who are taking a look at this company long-term who will have the temerity, the balls to say, oh, it's a $5 stock. That's all it is. It's just a $5 stock. Yeah. The fact that they're going to do billions of dollars of online selling, it's a $5 stock. Not gonna happen. I don't think so. Anyway, so welcome to my to my opening rant. 23 minutes until we open in the market. GameStop 51.65. Trying to educate you on what's going on in plain English. The futures right now. The Dow is up 138 points on the opening, so that's looking good. S&P up 19.5 points. Nasdaq up 64. So we got some movement coming along here. More money coming into the market, more upside, and again the market. What is the stock market looking forward to the most? $1.9 trillion of stimulus is coming down the track, and there's nothing that's going to stop it. The Democrats have got the votes in the House. They have the votes in the Senate. They're doing the reconciliation votes. It's all boring. It's all putting you to sleep. You listen to these terms. It's happening. It's going to happen. And the analysts out there are going, wow, 1.9 trillion coming into the economy. Whoa, we got winners and losers in the market, and there are more winners than losers, and the market is going higher in anticipation of what's to come. Peter, thank you for your donation this morning. Bruce, are there tax considerations to dividend reinvestment in holding long shares? It all depends where you live, what country, what state or province. If you're in North America, in the UK, it's different. Europe, it's different. You will pay tax on money you make, no matter what money you make from wherever you make it. And I'm encouraging you people to make ungodly amounts of money and have ungodly tax problems. I really hope that so many of you who watch my show and watch me rant away will have massive, ridiculous tax problems because of how bloody rich you've become. I've got good news for you. The more money you make, the easier it is to afford a tax advisor, whether it's just going to your local H&R Block office, or whether it's hiring someone online through Fiverr, or whether it's an uncle or a relative that is an accountant, or you know someone, or you just do a search in Google for your neighborhood. You will sit down with a financial advisor, and if your financial advisor is worth their salt, they will easily help you deflect, defer, reduce, moderate your tax problems. But boy, I love it when customers or viewers say to me, I had to pay $1 million in income tax last year. Geez, I hate giving those guys $1 million. And I go, well, how much did you make? Oh, 22 million. Oh, you brought in 22 million, you paid $1 million in tax. You poor bugger. Peter, you've got to check. You've got to check wherever you are with professionals. This is something that's out of my area, and any guess I give you will be wrong, and I don't want to steer you the wrong way. I just don't. Rich Artson, Brucey Boy, the FINRA report says 78.46 short interest. Many in the chat say you are accidentally looking at the Fintel report. Can you check? Love you. There are numbers everywhere. I will admit that. There are numbers everywhere. There are people out there who insist that the only number is this number. Others insist the only number is that number, and then there's only this number, and there's nothing else. I like in Ghostbusters, there's only Zool. Okay. I will say that that looking at this market watch number is just something I've been watching over the years, and I note that it's lower than before. But there are some analysts who will only recommend one shortage, one another. The bottom line is, I don't care what number you look at, there are too many shares shorted, and there aren't enough free trading shares to go around for every short to get out. That at the end of the game, the end of the day, is the bottom line with GameStop. Too many shares shorted, even though they've been covering, there still aren't enough left over. It's like musical chairs. We started with a room with 25 chairs and 28 people, and now we're playing musical chairs with 15 chairs and 17 people, and the chair count keeps dropping, and we're going to get down to the point where there are 5 chairs and 7 people, and 2 are out to lunch, and eventually there'll be 2 left going around 1 chair, and there will be a winner and a loser, and you got to either believe in this formula or you don't. No matter which of these numbers you follow, the end game, as far as I'm concerned, is for the long run, there are more shares shorted than there should be. It's a positive for the stock in the long run. But many of you who've been watching me, and many of you who are not watching me now, those of you who are here, there's 2,000 of you right here. There are 10,000 not watching me today that were watching me 2 weeks ago, because there used to be 12,000 people here because we were running ridiculous. Those 10,000 people were not investors. Those 10,000 people were flippers, and they were day traders, and they were opportunists looking for a quick score. They called themselves investors, but they weren't. And here we are 2 weeks later, and I now have 2,000 people watching me, and I bet you a high percentage of you are actually investors looking for long-term solutions and ideas and for guidance as to what's going on. And you're going to be the winners because you guys are investing your time into doing your homework to figure out what the heck is happening, what will happen, and why. Whereas 2 weeks ago, the frenzy was on. I get it. I understand it. I loved it that I had that many people watching here. But I also knew there's no way in 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, there's no way I'm going to have 12, 15,000 people at any moment watching me live talk about the market, because so many of them were being pushed to by promoters all over the place, and they were just chasing keys, shiny keys. And it's okay. It's the way of the world. And those of you who are the patient ones and the deliberate ones, the strong-handed ones, the diamond-handed ones, you're going to be the winners. The rest are pretenders, and that's the way life is. And that's why there are, it's only a certain percentage of people who do really, really, really well. And there's a great percentage of people who could do better. They just, they pick up water from a well, but they pick it up like this, and it just drifts through their hands, and they get a little bit in their palms. But the wealthy, they take their time and they scoop it, and then they are steady, and they get more per handful than the one in a hurry. Welcome to life 101, kids. It hasn't changed since the beginning of time, and it will not going forward, no matter how electronic and how sophisticated our systems get. We're going to have this. Nani, Lenny, what are your thoughts on Tesla? If full self-driving will actually be released by 2021? You've got 2 stories on Tesla. You've got the stock story. You've got the company story with product. Love the product. I think Tesla automobiles are a marvel. I wish they were available when I was 35 years old. But I'm now 65. What took you so long? When I was 35 years old, the fancy cars back in 90, 91, boy, you needed a Beamer. You had to get, maybe something imported. You certainly couldn't have bought North American because North America was just in a transition mode from building junk, pure crap, to longer lasting vehicles. And they were going under big time, closing plants everywhere. I mean, the quality control problems in the United States and Canada were awful. Then they began to smarten up and began to have components made by specialty companies, had parts made overseas in Mexico or elsewhere, brought in for a final assembly. And the GMs and the Fords and the Chryslers and the others of the world got smarter, producing cars at a lower cost and a better quality. But oh, did they come from a low point here. In the meantime, you know, you bought a Toyota in 1991. It lasted 10 years, 15 years. How many college students, and some of you who are watching me may have been college students back in the day, they were buying Toyota Tercels, used Toyota Tercels for $1,000, $500, and they drove them for their entire university career, 6, 7, 8 years with their master's degrees, and sold it for $150 at the end. That was a rust bucket, but still wouldn't break. It just darn thing wouldn't stop running. How many Toyota Corollas and used Camrys did people buy in the day because they were just indestructible? Whereas a Ford, anything, General Motors, a Chrysler Celebrity, a Vega, any of the GM and Ford cars. You list anyone you want. The Novas and the Sun. All that stupid name, garbage, crap. 4 or 5 years they were done for. You'd get a bill you'd get an estimate from a mechanic saying $800 to fix this car because you need new front bearings and we got to replace it. And you're just going, the car's worth $300. Fixed, it's worth $500. You want $800? No, I'm going to buy another one of these things. People were buying these junk cars. Anyway, things have changed. Here we are today with Tesla, producing cars with way fewer parts, like thousands of fewer parts per car, and electronic, and rather than mechanical systems, it's all electronic systems. Wow, just wow. And I'm not sure about the quality control issues. I know that Tesla at the very beginning, when the first Model S came out, they were ranked very high by Consumer Reports. That varies, of course. But for a company that sells cars online, that can sell cars to people without them even having a test drive is just mind-numbing to me. I know a lot of you out there who bought a Tesla or thinking of it, you will take a test drive. You'll rent one for a weekend, or you know somebody that has one. You'll be behind the wheel of a Tesla before you get one. But even so many people out there bought cars, putting down a $1,000 deposit, never having seen the car, then seeing the car on the computer, buying the car. Tesla is a winner. This full self-driving mode, I think it's genius. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a phenomenal achievement. Everyone is now getting into it. Every car company now begins to brag about it in their little commercials, that you can take your hand off the wheel for a little while, although you're not supposed to, and all this kind of stuff. It's the future. Yeah, it's a version of the future, and I love the Tesla product. The stock itself, very high price stock, and if you've got a long-term vision for the company, as most investors, a lot of investors for Tesla do. There are day traders on Tesla, of course, but there are a lot of investors in Tesla who say, you can't shake me out of the stock. I bought the stock 2 years ago and I'm still not selling it, and I'm up, way up percentage-wise. Unfortunately, I only had a couple of shares when I bought them, and I'm worth thousands of dollars or tens of thousands, but I'm not a millionaire, because I didn't have $300,000 to invest, and now I'm worth $6 million or $8 million. Nonetheless, a win is a win is a win, and the higher Tesla goes, the compounding effect continues to pay off, because they split, I believe, 5 for 1. So if it goes up $1 today, and you had a share a year ago, you have 5 shares now. It goes up, you're up $5 a share, where you used to be up $1 a share because you had 1/5 of a share, or 1 share. Now you have 5 shares. Compounding. Same with Apple investors. Apple investors have generated wealth for themselves by holding the stock for 10, 12 years and going through stock splits. And there are people out there who bought 1,000 Apple shares how many years ago? They now have 15 shares for every share they got. They got 15,000 shares now. Stock goes up $2 today, they're 30 grand richer. Welcome to that effect. And so, yeah, stock splits can be a good thing. Will other shares split going forward? Maybe Amazon at 3,200 a share at the moment. They don't seem to want to do it, but I would say it would be a good idea if they did do a 10-for-1 split. Because if they split Amazon 10-for-1, I can see the stock going from $320 to $400. That's like $4,000 right now. I can see that happening, but so far they're not mentioning it. There's no whisper rumors about it at this point. We'll see what happens going forward. Anyway, there's a couple of thoughts there. All right, thank you for these donations, comments, questions. We are now 9 minutes from the opening. We got Kramer on, and they're talking Cisco Systems and other stocks. I wanted to mention a couple of other things today. I'll mention that there was a poll conducted last couple of days among retail investors, and there was a kind of an open house Zoom kind of call where a bunch of retail investors were brought in to comment on the market as a whole. And the question was asked, what about the stock market? What are your thoughts on the stock market as we are sitting right now? And 64% of the people in the poll responded that they felt that the market was rigged in favor of large institutional investors like mutual funds, pension funds, hedge funds, wealthy, and the big banks and so on. 64%, that was the vibe they had right now. I think the GameStop story had a lot to do with it, with AMC and others. 50% of the respondents believe that hedge funds are not regulated enough. 45% believe that Wall Street as a whole is not regulated enough. My beef and my ranting lately has been on short positions. To declare your short position. If you're a hedge fund, mutual fund, pension fund, you have to declare what shares you hold long. So if you've got Apple, you've got a pension fund with 20,000 members, you're a mutual fund with $6 billion under administration, whatever the number is, you have to declare every month, I believe it's at least once a month, your holdings, including all long positions of all stock. You have to declare your cash position. You have to declare dividends that you've received. You have to declare significant events. You have to declare your options positions, your call options, your put options, if you have any inside your entity, your fund. ETFs, same thing. But if you are shorting stock and you're short 500,000 of GameStop or AMC or Bed Bath & Beyond, whatever you're short, you don't have to say a word about any of it to the public through filings. I would like to see that changed. I think that should be opened up. That should be declared. That is easy to do. It's just as easy to declare a short position as a long position. But I would like to have, at the very least, weekly reporting requirements. This is all electronic, kids. We don't need to hire 25 people who do the paper crap anymore. It's all on the computer. It's all in the system. And you program a little software program to do a release at the end of every Friday night or every Wednesday night or whatever day of the week you want to pick, however you want to do it. The 1st, the 8th, the 3rd, the 15th, the 22nd, the 20th, I don't care. Do a release every 7 days for long and short positions and option positions. And that's available to everyone to see. That is transparency. That's a level playing field. It allows retail investors to have some confidence in the game that when they buy stock in whatever company they're buying, they kind of know, oh, just so you know, there's a 38% short position on this stock. And the largest shorters on the stock are these funds or hedge funds or individuals of note. That I think should be done, because right now you can find out the long positions being held by mutual funds and ETFs. Why not the shorts? That's the first thing I'd like to see. The second thing I'd like to see is a restriction on how many shares can be shorted in a public company versus the public float of stock. That's just, again, a personal opinion of mine, a personal beef of mine. I think that if a company has 100 million shares outstanding, as an example, and 50 million free trade and 50 million are held by the insiders, I say of the 50 million, there should be a number that you can't go over. And maybe it's 50%, maybe it's 60%, but I don't think it should be 100%, and I don't think it should be 140%. No dang way. And so if it's a limit of 50%, there's 50 million free trading, there can only be 25 million shorted. That's the max. You are against the company, you think the company is not going to do well, then go out there and buy put contracts all you want, because those are contracts against futures, not against actual certificates at this exact moment in time. But when it comes time to settlement, when options expire, there have to be adjustments made. And the regulators here have got to figure out how they're going to allow the game to be played. If you've watched the movie The Big Short, you saw in that movie, as you were watching this whole quantitative nonsense going on with the mortgage market, there were mortgages that were packaged together into bonds sold to investors as at a AAA rated class, and they were paying 4, 5, 6% when you can only get 2% from the bank. And pension funds couldn't get enough of this stuff. ETFs and investors couldn't get enough of this stuff. But then there were the gamblers who were betting on the success or failure of those entities. And people were betting that they would pay off in full, there wouldn't be any defaults, and there were bets on these mortgages. There would be 1,000 bettors for every mortgage holder on top of it. So the leverage of betting went parabolically stupid, and the housing market eventually collapsed because mortgages were being given out without FICO scores. They were calling them ninja mortgages. No job, no income verification. You could get a mortgage. Just walk through the door, sign the papers. You got a $500,000 mortgage. I don't care where you work, and I don't care how much you make. You don't have to prove it. We'll give you the money anyway. Those kinds of loans were doomed to fail because they had teaser rates coming in for a year, and then after a year, the rate went up to an adjustable rate, and these folks couldn't pay those adjustable values. And there were bettors who bet a million times over on the success or failure of these entities. And when it came to pay off the winners of those bets, the institutions that were issuing the bets didn't have the money to pay. And that caused another calamity in the overall housing market. Right here with GameStop, you got stock at $50.63 with 2 minutes to go before the opening. There are 22 million shorted. And then there are the options market that there's probably 500 million shares being bet on right now on GameStop, and there's only 70 million in existence. But there are people who are betting it's going to go lower, and there are people who are betting it's going to go higher. And I bet you there's 500 million shares being bet right now on what GameStop is going to do. And that's just one stock of the entire market. Welcome to the bookie business that the Wall Street guys have created. And that is why major brokerage firms, major banks can afford the rent in a 70-story skyscraper in Manhattan. That's how they do that, and that's how they can pay $50,000 to $350,000 to $1 million a year or more in salaries to their top people. And there are dozens per firm, if not hundreds, that are making ungodly amounts of money. It's got to come from somewhere, and it's coming from the action. It's coming from the turnover of stock and other derivatives, where brokers can get a piece of the pie, a slice of the action, as a bookie does in Las Vegas. Zach Hybris, love your show. What are your thoughts on GameStop now that the reports, and they've dropped from 226 down to 78? Keep holding or sell? Again, I am a fan of the corporation long term. The stock right now is where it's at. It's doing what it's doing, and it's sorting itself out. But long term, I think this is worth more money. But short term, it could be worth less, or exactly where it is, or even more. But long term, I like the game plan that they're involved with and where they want to go. Usman, you've mentioned cruise and airlines are overinflated. What about Rolls-Royce? Are they a good long play despite the upcoming summer shutdown? Oh man, Rolls-Royce jet engines. Yeah, been a tough year, right? I don't know. By the way, I just noticed Carnival. They just rated Carnival bonds at B1 4 notches below junk. Carnival Corporation's bonds are 4 notches below junk bond status. The shares of the cruise lines are too high, and when credit rating agencies are doing that, there's a hint. There's problems here. Rolls-Royce, they're caught in a real dilemma here. There have been orders, cancellations of jets, cancellations of orders. Options have been dropped for all kinds of aircraft, and I really wonder if that's a smart move right now. I really don't know. Brent, GameStop is showing 163 institutional ownership. What should we make of that number? It tells me that there are a lot of mutual funds, pension funds that are long-term holders of the stock, and they're not letting it go. They're not dumping it. They may have sold some at the higher levels, or they may have not sold any and are writing out the long-term story. They like this Ryan Cohen story, and they're waiting it out because they're looking at GameStop at $4 billion valuation when Chewy has $40 billion valuation. They're both publicly traded companies. One is considered an e-commerce company. One is considered a brick and mortar company. And these folks over here, these investors are going, I don't think so. I think a year from now, GameStop will be a e-commerce company, and forget the brick and mortar part of it. That'll hardly be talked about anymore. And they'll be valued a lot closer to a Chewy rather than what they're valued at now. Well, that's upside. That's a lot of upside. Morning, Bruce. Thoughts about Global Star Inc. Global Star. I have no idea what they are. I have no idea who they are. I don't know what they do. I wish I could tell you, but I don't know who that is, and I don't know what they do. I don't even know the symbol. You'd have to give me the symbol. I have no idea. GameStop. We are at 50.53. We're going to see if we can upgrade or refresh my. I'll get the word out. Refresh my big ass iPad. In the meantime, let me take a look here at my board here. Okay, on Market Watch, GameStop, $49 a share is where I'm showing it. Let me just see where we have this here. Thank you, Corey, for your super chat. Got a question too. I'll try to read that from you as well. GameStop, here we go. Trading at $48 a share, down $231 on the day on a 1.2 million opening trade. And we'll see if this is a short little sell-off to start the morning, and then see if there's consolidation and recovery as we go forward. This is not a serious mega drop, but this is an initial, I'm going to guess, an initial reaction to the short positioning numbers that came out last night, and some people reacting to it, hoping that the number would be way higher than was reported. But again, initial trades first thing in the morning. You have to let a stock settle in the first hour. You're really going to know what the trend is and where it's really headed. 47.87 is where it's at this second in time. We'll keep an eye on it. Over at Gore's Holdings, $18.39, up $1.70 a share on that one. Virgin Group down 9 cents to $14.65. That's kind of settling in here around this 14.50, 15 range. And again, I like this range to acquire it, to gather it up, and wait out the merger. Patrick, howdy, Bruce. Any thoughts on casinos, resort management, and other hospitality areas? Bad news. Bad news. The vaccine rollout that everyone was hoping by March, April will all be done. And everyone will be vaccinated. And everyone is flying again and gambling again in Vegas and going to all these resorts all over the place. Not happening. I'm seeing more people talk about the ability of resorts, airlines doing fast short-term testing right at the airport, right at the check-in desk, because of the fear of the guests coming in that might be infected. To me, I wonder, you're offering COVID tests. Excuse me. You're offering a COVID test in the lobby of a hotel, and you test positive. How many people have you just been in the last hour have you been exposed to? You could have infected 10 people waiting for your test result because you're positive. I don't see this as a good thing. I see this, people should be tested from home, not out in public. And bottom line is, if test results are still coming back, where in the United States you still have 100,000 cases a day being identified, or 50,000 cases, that's not good. Just because it used to be 300,000-400,000 and now it's 50,000, it's not good. It's got to be under 100 a day for the whole country. And even then, there can be breakouts, and there will be. And so this problem isn't going away. Hospitality businesses, hotels, airlines, cruise ships, bad year 2021, a bad year. It was a nightmare 2020 because nobody knew how long it would last. I can tell you, a lot of these hotel outfits, they know how bad a year they're having. Disneyland and all of its properties. Timeshare sellers, they're getting creamed, these guys. Not good. Mickey Mac, Bruce, you need to check out BNGO. Biono Genomic, they are changing cancer research, just been picked by the biggest hospital in Canada. Mickey, thank you for these for that, and thank you all of you for giving me ideas. There is no shortage of stories out there. If you're watching me for a little bit, you kind of figured that out. There's no shortage. GameStop right now, $47.92 on 2.2 million shares right now is what we're showing on GameStop. Keep up this. I'm trying to keep my big ass iPad to stay up to date. It's still behind here. $47.92 on GameStop. $46.52 was the low trade for a moment this morning. We'll see if that will be it, or will it go lower? Will it recover from here? We'll keep an eye on it as it sorts itself out this morning. On the Dow, we're up 103 apparently, 105 on the Dow. We're up 15 on S&P about that. Nasdaq is up around 60. Oil is up 9 cents to 58.45. Twitter up 10% in pre-market as analysts weigh in on earnings. Twitter's finally being liked by some of the analysts out there. Interesting how that is helping the stock. GameStop 48.22 just popped up a little bit. So GameStop is up from 46.94 according to my phone, 46.52 according to MarketWatch, to now 48.50 or so, 48.30, 48.13. It's jumping around, but it's a little bit better. We'll see how it wants to behave as the morning wears on. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for these donations, your questions, your comments. I'll try to reach as many as I can. SNDL going to run with Wall Street Bets. It's new. It's the new go-to. Well, everyone is hoping for the next hot stock through Wall Street Bets. And if that's what you're looking for, you're not an investor. You're a flipper. And if you're a winner, you're a winner, and way to go. But boy, if you're on the wrong side of the trade, boy, can you get hit. And it seems to me that there is no guarantee just because Wall Street Bets people talk about a stock that it's going to go to the moon. There's just no guarantee. Although I will admit there are now over 7 million plus followers of Wall Street Bets, when there used to be only 1.5 to 2 million a few months ago. So that's a bigger crowd for sure. But it still doesn't mean that the community will agree at the same time on the same stock with the same strategy. Human nature is such that we all have our opinion, we all have our time frame, and that's what we're gonna, the way we're gonna go. Bruce, thoughts on pot stocks? I avoid them. I avoid them because of the problem these guys have. They can set up the best facilities in the world, grow great product, try to set up distribution arrangements. But at the end of the day, the retail environment is mom and pop shops, no big chains allowed in most jurisdictions. And mom and pop shops are subjected to local and federal and state rules, depending on where you are in Canada, the US, and each one is different. And some are good operators and some are not. And these growers are really good at doing what they do. The retailers are scattered and they're subjected to a changing landscape under their feet. Maybe it's a business tax thing or a state tax program that's coming in. Remember, Every state and every city and town in America is broke right now. They are starving for money, starving for cash, and they're looking for places to raise money. And it might be that the cannabis business is being legalized in your neighborhood, but by the time you figure out what you have to pay for the product you want to buy, and you compare it to where you used to get it from, which wasn't necessarily a legal source, you may find that the underground market is still half price versus the state price. And do not think that just because you can legally buy this stuff that all the illegal stuff is off the market. It's still there. And there are entrepreneurs out there in difficult times, which we're in, who will try to make a living selling these products on the black market because they don't have to pay the taxes. They don't have to pay the registration fees. They don't have to pay the city licensing and business taxes and all the zoning and insurance and worrying about fire regulations when they open up their stores and on. These guys are selling out of their pockets, however they're doing it. And some of them have a loyal clientele, and they deliver as well in a pandemic. Just saying, the stocks, I'm just not a big fan because they are, restricted in so many ways to do what they're doing. This has to mature out. This business has to mature out. It has to go across all states, and the United States federal government has got to get on board and legalize cannabis. Canada did it. Other countries have done it. We don't have a pot problem in Canada here. But the Bible Belts, in Canada didn't want to do it. The Bible Belts in the U.S. don't want it to happen. And so the political pressure is ridiculous. And so for these companies, I cannot, sit here and say, oh, you're going to be great. You're going to make nothing but money. I can only tell you that there's just going to be more and more and more uncertainty going forward rather than certainty right now. And that's why I'm just, not really talking about these stocks. Here in Canada, we've had companies do well and not do well. They've had a run up and then a run down because of all the hype, and then the reality came in, and oh my God, we can't even. Ontario, for example, the number one population province in Canada, it took them 6 months to get their act together to even license some stores, and they had an election in the meantime, a provincial election. The new people came in and they changed all the rules from the previous government to a new government, and it threw a whole bunch of millions of dollars of people's money out the door. A lot of mom and pops couldn't even open anymore because they thought they were going to open under these rules. Now they were these rules. They had to start all over again. The suppliers are going, we've got this product. It's done. It's ready. It's ripe. It's time to enjoy. And it all had to be blown away. Hell, had to be destroyed because the province couldn't get its act together. You want to bet on a politician to make you a success in retail? Good luck with that. Talk about playing with fire, man. You are really out to lunch if you think a politician is going to give you certainty. They're going where the wind blows with their poll numbers, and they're just out there. Anyway, GameStop 47.09, near the low of 46.94, according to my phone. On the market watch, 46.39, 47.05, low of 46.52. So still within 50 cents or less of the low of the day. GameStop volume now is 3.1 million. Very quiet opening compared to lately. A lot of people disappointed in the short numbers that came out, probably hoping that today would be the day that the stock would just soar because technically it is so in rare supply. But unless there's a buying wave, that's not going to happen. Just because there is an imbalance between short and long and free trading and restricted, that doesn't mean the stock does anything. It's a company that has to have corporate momentum that's going to make a stock do something. And at the moment, the longs are kind of going, well, how much lower can it go before I get in here or buy more if I want to buy more? And those who are long stock are going, geez, I thought it would be 65 this morning because of the short report. It's sitting at 47. Should I just get out of this? Should I just give up? And again, it's the age-old debate. Are you an investor or are you a flipper? And if you're holding for less than 3 months, you're not necessarily an investor. If you're holding for a year or longer and you've got that kind of mindset, you're not going to let today's action bother you one bit, because you've got a bigger picture in mind for the company. But again, welcome to the torture session every day. All right. Some people are talking to me about other stocks that I don't know anything about. Sebastian is saying stock markets with Bruce. Hi, Bruce. You mentioned before that hedge funds may lie about their short position with a fine or a punishment. Could it be that short interest doesn't include these positions? I don't think so. There's no need and there's no upside for hedge funds, pension funds, mutual funds to mislead authorities about their positions. I mean, there's just no upside. There's nothing but downside, nothing but, because you are subject now to the possibility of class action lawsuits. And there are gazillions of lawyers all over the place, especially in the USA, who are just looking for exactly this: someone who is going to mislead a declaration of a short position or a long position and try to prove that it was an intentional act of misleading authorities. You're going to find that company in a courtroom they're going after billions from these guys. So no, there is no upside. There is no reason for it. There's no positivity at all. You might lie about a 1 million share short position to try to hide a $50 million gain or loss. But in the meantime, you're now being sued for $5 billion from these lawyers over here. And that's not going to go away. You're going to spend $100 million in legals to defend yourself against an action that you made that may have saved you $50 or $100 million. Forget about it. There's no upside, and all the management of that entity will be fired and replaced. That means careers are ended and they won't be hired by anybody else because they'll be unlicensable under the SEC rules. They will not be allowed to get a brokerage firm to hire them or any other hedge fund or pension fund. They're out of a job. So no, there's no upside. These questions, I appreciate these questions, but I got to tell you, no way is there upside, and why would they bother with it? But I can hear and read between the lines, and I hear a lot of your comments, and I'm going, you're thinking conspiracy theories. You're thinking about, they're hiding the truth from the regulators so that they can hoodwink the public. And it's not worth it. There's just not enough dough available for any individual to want to do this. There just is not. All right. Digivolt, Virgin Group Acquisition Corp, looking good for your buy range today, Bruce. Do you think it could go lower now that the initial buzz has worn off? Well, that can always happen. I think it's already happened. The shares reached that $16+ range. It might have been even higher than that. Let me just take a look at the last week. Yeah, it was over $18. Now it's now sitting at $14.35. Down 39 cents on the day. This is right in the sweet spot. Anywhere in the 14s, I think it's a buy. I really do. I think you'll do well. Don't worry if it goes a little lower, but again, you can be a finicky buyer. It's okay. If you want to buy 100 shares, 10 shares, 80 shares, 5,000 shares, and you think they might go to, they might reach 14, but maybe not go through it, put in a buy order at 1402, 1406. You might get lucky. It's 14.35 right now. It might, but is it going to go to $10 a share tomorrow? No, I don't think so. Is it going to go to $11.50? Unlikely. There's a lot of insiders that are buying stock from the company at $10 a share on this additional financing that's being done. Big blobs of stock, hundreds of millions of dollars worth. So paying $3 or $4 a share more, you're paying $14 to $14.50. If you get lucky and it gets into the 13s, more power to you. But I can't guarantee that that'll happen. It's I figured it would back off from the quick run to 18 and come back in this 14, 15 range. I figured that. It's done that. It's there now. And now you've got to decide whether you want to come in at what price. Over on Gore's Holdings, they went to $20 in the aftermarket last night. They're $17.95 right now. Still up $1.26. I would love to, if you guys get that between 14 and $15, I think you got a score there too. But will it come back another $3? Because it has to come back $3 to get the $14.95. It'll calm down as today goes on. Tomorrow, Yeah, it'll calm down, but will it calm down enough on the Gore Holdings? I'm not sure. That's GHVI. All right, we'll see what's going on. Michael, hello. How come the stock price of GameStop always seems to spike after the markets close, then plummet the moment they reopen? Seems fishy to us mortals without access to after-hours trading. Well, keep in mind that any trading that takes place on any stock, pre-market or after the bell, is in a very tightly held environment. There are very few shares that are actually available to be purchased or being dumped off and wanted to be bought or sold. It's a very thin market. And when I mean thin, we're not talking about 1 million shares wanted and 1 million shares for sale within a $1 range of the last trade. That is just not the case on aftermarket or pre-market trading. You might have 100 shares wanted at $47.70 and 100 offered at $48.70, and that's it. That's all there is. And you want to buy 1,000? You can't get 1,000. There aren't 1,000 available. So you put in a bid 10 cents higher than the last guy and hope someone comes to you. And you're showing 1,000 wanted at whatever the price is. You're hoping it comes in, but you might only get a couple of hundred shares. And then someone else comes in and says, no, I want 1,000 shares too, because I think there's going to be good news today. They bid 20 cents higher than you. And the next thing you know, it's trading at $1 a share higher. And everybody missed the boat, but they couldn't miss the boat. There was no boat. There was no stock for sale. And so there are people out there who like to uptick stocks, especially those who are long. And so what they wait until a minute before the opening, and they do an uptick trade. They buy 100 shares at the offering price that might be $1 higher. But then on the real market, when the New York Stock Exchange opens up, it'll open up much closer to where it left off last night, unless something really big happened overnight. Big as in good, or big as in bad. And the stock might open down $3-4 a share, might open up $3-4 a share, but then it'll all kind of even out and continue on its journey. But I have seen scenarios where, a stock closed at 50, aftermarket traded to 55.60, pre-market went to 65.70, first trade on the market, $70 a share and higher. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the reverse, and I've seen everything in between. There you go. GameStop right now, $48.62. Up $2 approximately from the low of the day. Volume now on GameStop is 4 million shares, very thin trading, and it took very little market movement, very little stock buying to pop it up $2 to $48.60 right now. Very little buying. It's down $1.70 on the morning. It is really not doing a lot here. Kind of a good thing. $48.80. The stock is, it's down a little, but not down another $10 a share right now. It's just not doing that. And I'm beginning to notice how it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter on its daily action as far as volatility is concerned. The volume is dropping, the volatility is dropping, and I'm getting the impression these shares aren't going back to $20 a share. I don't think so. Will there be a point in time where it is very much oversold and any kind of positive news corporately could bump it? That is possible on any stock, but I think it's more possible on GameStop. That I think there's more of a risk that it could pop $20-30 than drop $20. I don't think 28 is in the horizon like 68 is in the horizon. I think it's an easier run to 68 than to 28. But that's, again, just my opinion. I'm not a shareholder of any of these companies. I'm a commentator. But this is from my experience over the years. And this is a typical washout that we've had, but it just does not look like looks like it's going to drop that much faster, that much further. Down $1.50 now to $48.79. All right. Brandon, if you're selling Virgin Group months before they acquire the company that you bought the stock for, why are you investing at all? Go play blackjack. Well, remember, there are people who bought it at $10 on the initial offering. They were on the broker's preferred list. They got in at 10. They got a warrant or a piece of a warrant when they bought it at 10. And if you combine the value of the warrant and the stock, and they can get out at 15 or 16 bucks combined, they're up 50, 60%. There are investors that's all they want. They just want to get in on the offerings and they want to get out. Others will buy a SPAC the minute it trades on the exchange and it's at 10.10, 10.20, 10.40. They'll buy a bunch of that stuff right there at 10, 10.40, 10.50 a share, sit back, wait until the announcement is made, and then the crossing of the fingers, the street likes the announcement and the stock is 14 to 18 to 20 bucks and they dump it. That's what people do. Everybody has their game they want to play, that whatever their investment situation is. I like the what Jefferson is saying. Jefferson, hold it until the acquisition, or hold it now until the merger is completed and it starts trading on the open market. Let the new company speak and tell us, what are your plans for the 950 million bucks you just got your hands on? What are you going to do with it? Where are you headed? What's your direction? And then decide. Maybe you've got a $25 stock. Maybe you've got a $50 stock. I don't know. I've seen DraftKings do really well for people from all over the place. It's had quite the range, but that was a $10 SPAC at one point in time. I like how that has reacted. I'm giving these people a chance to be a merged company and to speak to the market. That's what I'm prepared to give them. So if you get in to the Virgin deal at $14.30 or so a share, and you wait until that merger is completed and the company is now called 23andMe, a month later, I think you're going to have heard a lot of information and projections, and a lot of analysts will come out with their 2 bits worth of info, and I don't think the stock is going to be down here. I don't think so. That's my personal opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a lot of downside risk getting into this deal and giving them some time to deliver some news. And with Gores, I just hope it comes down so that you can get in at a good price. It's $17.85. It was 20 bucks in the aftermarket last night on thin volume. As I've been talking about, aftermarket trading, you can go up $3 a share with no volume. It went to 20 last night. Now it's a $17.80 on the market. And the volume on Gores now has been 1.7 million shares. Nothing. That's nothing. But it's up 110 right now, still on the day. The hope, as I said, if you want to get in, maybe it'll come back to you and you can get it at a decent price. You make your money when you buy. Okay? You lock your money in when you sell, but when you make it when you buy. All righty. Let's see here. Here we go. Clash to win. Hi, Bruce. Big follower of Bruce and Warren Buffett. Fundamental investment is the key. Don't get stressed with the day-to-day. Don't get stressed out. Don't let the stock move it. Don't let the stock move and get you down. I agree. You've got to let this go. You've got to be able to allow a stock to be a stock. Look at GameStop, $49.70. It was $46.52 right off the opening within 15 minutes. Good buy for somebody, but it didn't reach $46.50. Didn't get that nice round number. It didn't get 46. It didn't hit 45. Too much buying interest at 46.52, and sellers sold out. They got taken, and now 49.90, down 41 cents. That's all. It's down now, and the volume for GameStop here, 4.4 million. Far cry from the 20 million opening hour that we used to see. There you go. Again, I think there's more upside on a $10, $20 bounce. There's more probability of that than a $10 drop or a $20 drop. I really think we're kind of through it. Anyway, Sebastian, Bruce, you mentioned hedge funds. They may lie or neglect their short position, and this can only result in a fine. Do such actions influence the reported ratio, or is it not influenced? They will not lie. They do not lie as a rule. They don't. There might be an accounting error, but really they will not lie because the position is known by the hedge fund and the broker they're using. They both know the number. They are all reporting, and the numbers are double-checked, triple-checked. There is no way to really see a lie coming through. Do get off of that bandwagon, you guys. There is no way these hedge funds are going to lie to the market to try to hide their short position. There's no shenanigans they can play. It's all digital. It's all recorded. It's all discoverable, and the fines can be devastating, and the suspensions can be career ending. There is no way these guys want to do this. There's no way they benefit in any way enough. 53.50 on GameStop. It just popped $3 a share, by the way. Debbie Manuel, one of my favorite people in all the world, is here. This lady is royalty as far as I'm concerned with respect to my number one channel, Traveling with Bruce, the first channel I created. Good morning, Bruce. So happy to see you face live again. I'm happy to be back in class with you. Don't forget, everybody, give Bruce thumbs up. You do what Debbie says. If Debbie says give me a thumbs up, you follow that lady. You are watching royalty here. And say hi to Debbie Manuel out of Chico, California, one of the most beautiful people in all the world. Thank you, Debbie, for being here today. I'm glad you're here. Brandon McNamara, Bruce, what happened to your super chat? I got in this week I bought into GameStop and AMC, still not selling, holding my pride in my investment academy tuition. There's still super chats coming in from time to time, but it would help if GameStop went to $600 a share. 56.66, 57 on GameStop. What happened? Did they say something? Somebody said something. To quote the warden from Shawshank Redemption, somebody must have said something. What's going on with GameStop? Anybody know? I'm looking for any news on GameStop. What is going on with GameStop? It is moving up to 57.70. Like I said 10 minutes ago, the stock can jump $20 a lot easier than go down $20. This thing is oversold. Could be a temporary move. Could be the beginning of a run. I don't know. 57.05. What is going on with GameStop? Anybody have an idea? I see nothing anywhere. 55.26 now, jumping around. That was quite the shot. Why would a stock go up from $48 to $57 in 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Why? Why, I ask you? 6.3 million traded right now. What is happening? We're going to have to see what's going on. TikTok sale to Oracle and Walmart has been shelved amid the Biden administration review. There might not be a need for TikTok to be sold off after all because Trump is gone. Interesting. The Dow is up 100 points as investors parse inflation data and await a Powell speech, which would be the Treasury Secretary for the United States. Dow is up 92, S&P up 15, NASDAQ up 90. Why, I ask, did GameStop do such a run in such a hurry? What's going on GameStop? Does anyone know anything out there? I haven't seen anything. Let me get right to my newest comments. Let's see here. I'm looking at the comments that you guys are giving me to see if any of you are saying anything about it. Joey. Hey, Bruce, at times when you get excited, you sound a bit like you could be Bill Burr's dad. Thank you, Richard Pitt. Is that right, Richard? Thank you for this, for the PayPal donation. Thank you very much. Very generous. Let's see. Bubble soda. I don't know what's going on, but trust me, I already made money buying at 47 and selling at 55. Exactly. This is done all the time by traders, day traders. Why not? Absolutely. Someone is saying AMC went up as well. AMC 577 is the trade right now. Topped up at 590. It's up 27 cents. Low of today of 545. So the range for AMC is only 45 cents right now from low to high. Traded 21 million shares. There's volume there. What else is going on? Bed Bath & Beyond up 63 cents. Traded 476,000 shares. Very quiet, but it is up 63 cents this morning so far. On BlackBerry, down 20 cents. Still consolidating from that little gain it had earlier this week. Volume 6.5 million shares. GameStop, 53.63, giving up some of these gains all of a sudden. Something happened on GameStop. It took a shot. I don't know why. 7.1 million. There's volume coming in. Maybe they're listening to Stock Markets with Bruce, and they're seeing that Bruce is talking about how hey, thanks, SnapBets. Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate that. They're listening to Bruce talking about the fact that, yeah, there might only be 22 million declared short, but there's only 50 million free trading like before. There used to be 70 million short, 70 million in existence, 50 million were free trading. That meant 120 used to be able to be traded. You can't trade 120 million shares in GameStop anymore. You can only trade 70 million in GameStop now. 50 million have disappeared. They've been bought back and they're no longer around. And so the liquidity has shrunk big time on GameStop. If you trade 7 million shares in the first hour of trading and there's only 70 million you can possibly trade, that's 10% of the possible trading can be done. And I can tell you, there is no way that 40 million of the 50 million free trading are trading. They're in mutual funds. They're not going anywhere. They're in pension funds. So we're talking about maybe 30 million that could trade, the 20 million short, 10 million of the free float. And we've had 7 million of the 30 million trade this morning. That's over 20% of all stock that has changed hands already today. You go back a month ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 20% turnover of all the free trading stock, that would have been 24 million shares traded. Today, that only means 7 million shares traded. There's fewer shares trading that can trade. And so you trade 7 million, you've traded over 20% of the free float. That's a lot of turnover in the first hour of the day. Something's going on. And maybe there's a hedge fund out there that's figured it out, or a couple of them. They're kind of going, yeah, you know what? We buy up some stock here in the 40s. We just pick this stuff up as these saps give it to us, whoever these saps are, shorters, what name, we buy it up. And every time we buy up stock, there's even fewer shares that can trade going forward. And it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then you get these, boom, you get a $10 pop like that on a couple million shares, a $10 pop. And you could have that happening for weeks. Depends. I'm just saying, I'm just looking what I'm looking at. I don't know what's going on here. Something's happening. The warden said, somebody said something, must have said something. Somebody must have said something. More buyers and sellers. Yeah, CNA area, CNA. Yeah, there's more buyers than sellers. Interesting. Dead cat bounce. Yeah, you know, long term you could view it as that. But what if the dead cat bounce takes us to $100 a share? Is there anything wrong with that kind of a bounce? I don't think so. Let's see. We'll keep an eye on this market. We're looking at the Dow up 92, S&P up 15, NASDAQ up 84 points this morning. So the markets overall are ahead. They're looking good. Here, another comment right here. Could these price pops, like last week's pop to $95, be shorts covering a little at a time? Yeah. They could be short sellers who were selling like yesterday, the day before. They thought they were hot shots selling at 60, 65, and they figured they'd buy it back at $20. It didn't go to $20. It got to 46.52, and it wouldn't drop anymore. And then they were thinking, well, we'll start buying it back. And they bought a little, and then with some hedge funds and other traders are going, I smell an opportunity here. We've got some shorters trying to cover. We're going to buy too. And all of a sudden you've got a competition for buying. More buyers and sellers for 5 minutes. Boom, went up $10. That's a sign of what kind of a slingshot we're talking about here. I think that elastic has been pulled back, and at any time, let her go and watch what happens. That's why I'm asking you, is there a corporate announcement that caused this? No, there was nothing from what I can see from the corporate side at all. Nothing from the company that would justify a $10 move in less than 10, 15 minutes. So it's got to be a technical move. And I like that. I like the fact that if the stock can pop $10 a share on a little oversold position that we're running into here, just watch if the company makes an announcement of, we just stole 20 more people from Amazon. We just stole, people from QVC. We just stole people from Chewy. We've just stolen people from Best Buy. We've stolen people from all these other, e-commerce sites, whatever they are, to come on into the company. I mean, give me more evidence of that, and bring out, if I see more articles like I quoted this morning, where GameStop could start being quoted or analyzed by analysts where they're going to predict the stock price of GameStop based on the multiple of sales of the company rather than a PE multiple like a brick and mortar. You equate GameStop and compare it to a Chewy, where Chewy right now is a $40 million market cap. GameStop is a $4 billion market cap. You start saying, well, if GameStop starts doing Chewy kind of business, e-commerce to those levels, then GameStop too would be a $40 billion market cap company. That would be a lot higher per share than we are right now. I'll tell you that. No question about it. What do we got here? We got Bond Monitor, Bondo Minotaur. Good morning, Bruce Nation. We are so close to 50,000 subs. Let's get Uncle Bruce to this milestone. We only need 300 more subscribers. Bruce is on the loose. Well, I can't wait for that moment to happen. We are very close. I last looked at it. It was 49,726 subscribers. I now see 49,748 subscribers. So we're 252 away from hitting 50,000 subscribers. This morning, we have 1,100 thumbs ups on this telecast, which I very much appreciate. We have 2,665 people watching this show approximately, and 1,100 thumbs ups. Now, if I can get half of you guys to please hit that thumbs up button to give this show momentum with those analytical computers that YouTube has, you see thumbs ups coming in like a serious count of thumbs ups, comments that we have. This is engagement that YouTube wants, needs, desires. They reward this channel with increased exposure to more and more potential stock players out there, people who are following markets who don't know I exist. There are channels out there who talk to you about the markets that have 900,000 subscribers. We're at 49,700 something. We got a ways to go. And one way to get to those levels, thumbs ups, please. Every video I make, thumbs ups. That just makes a difference. You'll see every YouTuber telling you when they make a video, please give me a thumbs up. They're not kidding. They mean it. They are begging you. And the last I checked, they're free to hand out. They cost you nothing. Hey, all you got to do is go like that. If you could find the energy, take a sip of coffee first, get some caffeine in you, and then hit that thumbs up button for us. Thank you, all of you. Flipping Birdies. I started a second account last week with $1,400. I'm now at $5,264. I'm going to the moon here. Way to go. Those of you out there, I want you making way ungodly amounts of money. I really hope it works for you. Trust me, I know what I'm doing is saying, Bruce, you need some kind of a TV behind you. You need some kind of TV behind you. Now, do I need a television behind me that you can watch? Or do I need a TV network behind my channel that will promote my channel? I think they mean that I need a TV behind me. I think that's what they want. 52.29 on GameStop. It's jumping around here. 20 something. 52.05 on 8.4 million volume. That's what GameStop is doing right now. Interesting to watch these numbers and this variation in price. Quite amazing. AMC 581, Best Buy 2740. Like I said, the Virgin Group 1427, the Virgin Group acquisition 1427. That's a good deal. And then over at Gore's Holdings 1688. It's backed off. It's only up 19 cents. That's come down from the $20 mark in the aftermarket last night. It's really backed off today. This is I smell opportunity here. If this can go into the negative under 15, that's a steal of a buy, I think, for their acquisition. We'll see. Thank you, Wild Pine. Yesterday, when you told us the thumbs ups more authoritatively, it went up 4,000 right there. Let's see how we're doing now. I asked you a few minutes ago. We were at 1,100 thumbs ups. I got 1,400 thumbs ups right now. That means at least 1,000 of you guys are sitting there doing this, going, I want you to entertain me before I give you a thumbs up, man. Hey, I've been on the air for a while here. 103 minutes I've been going at it. Come on. 1,500. I just got 100 more. Thank you, everybody, for these thumbs ups. They really mean a lot to the analytics. I'm not kidding. Thank you, guys. Where are we at now? 53.23 on GameStop. The high trade today, $57 according to MarketWatch, $57.80 according to my Yahoo stock quote here. Volume 8.7 million, it looks like, is what GameStop has done so far. Interesting how that is going. D and Dennis is saying, I've clicked 7 times on the thumbs up. That means you've given me a negative. Thank you very much. 52.75 up to 44. Love it. Cannon Hastings. Bruce, do you have any general thoughts on international equities outside the United States? Pick a region, become very familiar, shop around, promising companies. I've got enough to watch here in in North America, to say the least. Trying to give you folks some glimmer of information on one or another company. I just don't have the manpower. I don't have any assistants here. I don't have 15 employees that work for me. I'm a one-man guy. Jen, my beautiful Jennifer Aniston lookalike wife that you've not yet seen on camera, but I'll show you what she looks like. This is what my wife looks like right here. This is Jen and I the other little while ago. We were shopping. There's Jen right there. My Jennifer Aniston lookalike wife and I, we do the best we can with what we got here. By the way, I was showing these off last week or two ago. These mugs. And just so you know, people have been ordering these. And let me show you. Here's a photo that came in yesterday that was posted on my Facebook group page for Traveling with Bruce. Somebody got their Game Stomp with Uncle Bruce mug. I designed that all by myself. Thank you, those of you who have been picking these items up on Redbubble. The link is above in the top corner somewhere on this channel. If you go to my homepage, beautiful thing. We also have these plain Jane looking mugs. There are other logos that have been sent to me. People have been sending me logos saying, Bruce, here's a logo for you. Here's 5 logos. Use them, enjoy. And I have not yet had the time, I mean, physically, mentally, to really go to the next level, to get a logo and then take it to the Redbubble people. Bear with us. Jen and I will work on it. We will get to you on it. There eventually will be shirts, T-shirts available for Stock Markets with Bruce. We will get those going. Just bear with us. We are so behind with requests for all kinds of investment advice, comments, questions, some collaboration opportunities. I was just doing an interview yesterday with an organization that will come out in the near future. There's all kinds of things happening here, and we're trying to desperately stay on top of the activities. It's not easy. What can I say? Here we go. Fritz Musterman, Stock Markets with Bruce. Morning, Bruce. How do you, as a broker, and we as retail investors, develop the skill to know when to buy low and sell high? As is, I miss those moments. Advice. Well, going back to the old days, I cannot tell you how many thousands of people I interacted with in my brokerage career from 79 until the late 90s into the early, right up to about 2000, when I was still an offshore kind of a broker asset manager in the Cayman Islands. I mean, I dealt with thousands and thousands of people over those years. And as an active stockbroker from 79, 80, 81, I mean, I would have 300, 400 clients. Then I would, I became a manager, and I now was, guiding brokers that, came and went through my career, and fellow brokers that came and went through my, sphere of influence. I mean, I helped a lot of guys as brokers be better brokers after I was a manager, when I, stopped being a manager, because once you've got it, you've got it, Not that I was the best of all time, but, I had my experience, and as I got older, you've seen it all, you've seen a lot, you've seen it all. And so I, as a broker, I would be making 150 phone calls a day, or I would make 50 and get 100, or make 70 and get 80. I mean, I was always on the phone, talking and talking and talking. And then I would meet clients face to face, or we'd have a lunch, or after hours, I'd see a client. Once in a while, I would talk to clients between 5 in the evening and 10 in the evening. I'd call them at home, especially if it was a busy day. And I would be educating my clients as to what's going on in the market and how the markets are working and reacting. By the way, GameStop is back to $50.34. So that glitch has come and we're back to where we were. And as every day went by and every week and every month passed, more and more of my clientele got the hang of the markets. I could immediately tell after 5 minutes talking to somebody whether they cared or not about the inner workings of a market. There's some of you out there who deeply want to know, desperately want to know the technical details of a market. And many of you just are saying, Bruce, I don't give a crap about that. I'm not going to hang out with you for 3 hours and listen to you rant and rave about the market. You just tell me what to buy and when, and that's all I want. Well, I'm not your broker and I'm not your financial analyst, but I'll give you my opinion if you stick around long enough for it. That's the price you got to pay. But in those days when I was a broker, yes, I did make recommendations all the time because I was trying to keep customers out of trouble, steer them in the right direction. Things would change, would evolve, good times coming and going in various businesses and industries, and we had to be nimble to be on top of it all. But that was the way it was. If you're sticking around with me here and hanging out with me, I appreciate it. I am hopeful that the more time you spend with me, you'll become more market savvy. You'll figure out a lot of the ins and outs of what's going on out there. It'll make more sense to you. The next time you listen to CNBC or read a vlog or a blog or whatever you're watching and you see someone talk about company blah, you'll go, oh, that's what Bruce was saying. Yeah, well, it's just like what Bruce was talking about last week. Oh, I've heard this before. Oh, yeah, I know what that is. That's how the game works. The more knowledge you get, the more knowledge you have. Knowledge is power. By the way, that's another movie line. Do you know what movie that's from? Knowledge is power. Mr. Noodle, Uncle Bruce should do an options for beginners video and help not lose everything. Press 1 if you agree. You received a donation from Jose Valenda. Thank you for the donation on PayPal that just popped in. Some of you are sending me donations. I want to make sure I say hi to you guys. Thank you, Richard Pitt, for your donation today on my PayPal account. That popped in earlier today. And Corey Kendall, thank you for your donation to my PayPal account today. These are very, very much appreciated. They don't show on the screen. They show on my private email, and I'll see the notification, and it means a lot to us. Jennifer and I really appreciate those because every dollar you send us on a PayPal donation, 96% or so of those funds land in our bank account, and we have access to those funds tomorrow morning right away. Donations made here on Super Chats, which I love. We only get access to this once a month on the 21st of every month, and it's the next month after. So Super Chats made now, I will be paid March 21st. I have to wait till the 21st of March to get the money you're sending me today, and I get a percentage of this money, not all of it. But on PayPal, it's all of it. The next day it's available, and so we can pay bills immediately. So thank you, all of you, however you're supporting us. I appreciate it. We now have 1,700 thumbs ups because you guys are coming through. You are coming through for me in big ways, and it's really helping. I thank you very much for these donations and these thumbs ups. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you. GameStop now $48.50 down to $1.80. Look at the range of this stock. Isn't it interesting how it's jumping? But it seems to me that there's more upside of a bounce than downside. But we'll watch this all day long. I'll be here until for another, what is it? I'm here for another hour and a half, or there's 3 hours I'm on in the morning. And I've been on for an hour 50. Got another hour to go. 1 hour, 7 minutes. I'll be with you. Then I'll take a break until 1 hour before the close tonight. And I'll be on for the last hour of the day, plus an hour after market as well. Folks would love to have me do an option video. I see all the number ones coming in. I will note that, and I thank you. Thank you from Megan. Again, Megan, thank you for the donation on PayPal. Fantastic donation from PayPal. Very generous of you. I really appreciate it. Just flashed on my phone here. These email flashes pop up, and I kind of catch them. Thank you very much. S. Martin, thank you for this donation. Hi, Bruce. I've read that 23andMe has declining revenues for the last 3 years. Does this impact the longer-term outlook? I'm gonna say that might be true. It might not be true. I think that they have collaborations in the works that they've been developing. And I think some of the pharmaceuticals, they've got partnerships there and pending. And I think they're going to really expand their footprint out a lot. And this $950 million in the hand, the money they're going to have in their palm of their hand upon the merger day, that's going to take this company to a whole other level. So don't be surprised if they announce all kinds of partnerships, collaborations, and don't be surprised if they also announce secondary financings at higher prices per share going forward. Don't be surprised if that happens. And that's just going to make you richer because it's going to be at higher prices than you're getting in at now. That's my gut feeling. $49.77 on GameStop. It's kind of hanging around this $49.50 range here. That's kind of break even. Interesting to watch. Virgin is now $13.98. There's a bargain. That deal is now in mega buy territory. The Gores Holdings down 60 cents to $16.09. That is coming back to a buy range under 15. I would be really interested in that stock again because of their merger that's going to happen. So that could be pretty cool. All right. Clash to win. Thank you, Canadian supporting Canadian. FYI, we do not get that big check that Americans will be getting. That's true. We don't get those kinds of stimuluses. Here in Canada, those of you who don't know, when the whole thing happened, the whole coronavirus thing took off, by about April, we were already on lockdown across Canada probably by April. The government of Canada just immediately started handing out $2,000 a month in support payments, and they did that for like 9 straight months. So Canadians are getting $18,000 in stimulus money, and now Canadians are getting extended unemployment benefits up to $2,000 a month, and it's quite generous. And then there were children's allowances and seniors allowances. The government of Canada was handing out way more money to Canadians than the American government was handing out to Americans. Way more cash. Interesting how that all worked out. But a lot fewer bankruptcies in Canada than in the U.S. Because, again, there's of government support that was just instantaneous. Then there was provincial support as well. So there you go. Megan, thank you. I got to go here shortly. Love you guys. Thank you, Megan, for being here today. And thank you for that PayPal donation. It did not escape my corner of my eye. I saw it come in. Thank you, Jose and Megan. Thank you very much. Have a great day if you're heading out. $50 a share on GameStop, down 31 cents on the day. Volume on GameStop now is 10.2 million. So 10 million out of maybe 30 million that could really trade hands. That's a third of the float that has turned over so far today, which is telling me that there could be better bounces ahead versus dips. Shortage of stock slowly but surely is happening. The noose is slowly tightening on available stock on GameStop. That's my take on it. That's how I sense it, how I feel it happening. But the company need only to speak, and I'm sure they will. All right. Where are we at now on the big board? The Dow down 7 points. It was up earlier, so there's been a down move here. And there must have been some numbers coming out. The S&P down 4 points, NASDAQ down 41. We're a little lower on the big markets. David N. wants to know, what are your thoughts on buying physical gold and silver? Don't do it. I'm not interested. This market is a fool's game. My personal humble opinion, I think it's a fool's game. There are companies out there that buy advertising time on all kinds of networks, especially in late night hours when the rates are really cheap, promoting gold coins and silver coins as a rarity and as a wonderful way to invest. You can't sell them. There's only one way on those markets. You can only buy this stuff from these guys. Try and sell a gold coin to somebody else. There is no official market for this stuff. These are products made by entities that have a mixture of some gold content and not. A lot of gold dealers will give you a hard time if you want to offload this stuff. I just don't buy it. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I think if you're a company advertising on television to get people to buy your gold coins, there's got to be a margin in there. There's got to be a profit margin. How do you pay for the ads? How do you pay for all those people? How do you pay for all that? It comes out of you. You are paying a retail value for something that is worth half or less than what it's really worth. Stay the heck away from that. You can buy gold on the markets through a paper transaction, or you can buy gold ETFs. You can buy gold index funds. Ride the wave of the metal through that. Commission free. You don't have to take possession of anything. You don't have to put anything in a safety deposit box. You can buy it on your phone electronically, and that's the easy way to go. Stay away from the physical stuff. You gotta be kidding me. No. Anyway, there you go. Canada sounds good, but Trudeau sounds crazy. Well, some of us love our politicians and some of us don't. I try to stay out of it. I just try to stay absolutely out of it. And, I'm just a YouTuber. Is what I'm doing. D.A. Dewey, someone sell limit of 294 shares at 232 filled on GameStop. Explain it was 2.8 after hours when price is $48. I can't explain this. This is a matter between whoever the individual is and their stockbroker or their platform trader. Technical glitch. I cannot be a voice of reason in that area at all. I just can't. I can't be there. Anyway, there you go. Clash to win. Hi, Bruce. Yes, that is true. But I was lucky, the one that was still employed, so I didn't get the benefit. I totally forgot about that. That's right. I knew Canadians that were getting $2,000 a month, and I've heard of all kinds of like waiters and waitresses and kitchen staff at restaurants that were laid off, service workers, hotel cleaning staff, janitorial staff in office buildings, receptionists for companies that were laid off. These folks all qualified for the emergency benefit of $2,000 a month immediately from the government of Canada, all deposited electronically straight to your bank account. All you had to do was register for it, and it was available. And untold millions of Americans, untold millions of Canadians, I should say, qualified and received these funds for months and months and months. Trudeau kept extending it. The Canadian deficit went up, the government deficit went up, but it was a small price to pay. Canada stepped up to help its citizenry, and there were, mom and dads at home, both laid off. They each got $2,000 a month. And then for the children, they got a benefit there as well. There were the kids' benefits. And so households were able to pay the mortgage, keep the credit cards under control, buy your groceries, buy your car insurance, keep everything going on a temporary month-by-month basis. And now I know there have been extensions in the unemployment side, depending on those who are still unemployed and cannot go back, because the lockdowns are instituted by the government. The government is saying, you can't open this, you can't open that. So the government steps in to compensate. That's how it's done in Canada. And it's done quickly, and there isn't a lot of discussion about it. It's kind of like in Canada, we just kind of take it for granted that government services are for all. And when it's needed, it's delivered. And some politicians fight over how much they should give. Like some say it should be more. It's rare that there's a big political party in Canada arguing that we should give half as much to people. No, the opposition is usually saying we got to give more than you're giving. You're not giving enough. We're the opposite of America, really. In many ways, that's one of them. Don't worry, there are fiscal conservatives in this country freaking out about the deficit, freaking out. But then they look around and go, well, Germany is handing out trillions. France is handing it out. Spain, Italy, the UK, Ireland, Norway, Sweden, Canada, Japan, Australia, New Zealand. Hey, it's not like Canada is the only country handing out money to its citizens to help them get by. It's a global phenomenon. So you can't say Canada is overspending over other countries. Not even. No. So it's the new normal. And so, yeah, all deficits have gone up, but the interest rates are zero. I mean, in Germany, interest rates are negative 0.5 percentage point. The German government can borrow money from investors and pay back 0.5% negative interest every year. And they can then hand that money out any way they want to their social programs. And in 10 years, Germany pays back about 5% less of the money by just rolling over bonds at that time for whatever they're going for. It's unbelievable. Of course, America, the 10-year treasury in the United States is what? A 10-year treasury is something like, where are my rates? Here I am. 1.1% for 10 years. Inflation is 2.5%. This isn't even inflation. So America can borrow $1 billion, $100 billion today, and in 10 years pay it back with 1.1% interest in the meantime. Inflation is 2 to 3%, and so really the United States government will be able to borrow $150 billion in 10 years, pay back that $100 billion thing over there, no problem, and borrow $50 billion more. Let's keep going. Yeah, money is free. I mean, that's the reality. Money to rent is free right now. You can rent money for nothing. Germany, they're being paid to borrow. Incredible. Negative 0.44% for a German 10-year bond right now. Negative 0.44%. You're guaranteed to lose money if you give them money on top of the inflation that you're losing. So you lose 2% inflation and 0.44%. And people are willing to lend Germany all they want. And Germany's just, okay, we'll take free money, like discounted money. Okay, yeah. What are we, stupid? We're German. We studied. We went to school, you know. We know how the numbers work. Yeah, they know what they're doing. Anyway, there you go. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let me just get back here into my big-ass iPad to see if I can get the thing to function properly. There we go. The Dow is down 29 points. S&P down 8, roughly. NASDAQ down 68. The markets have turned negative slightly. Catastrophic drop? No. Just a drop. There you go. There you have it. Opinion. The COVID-19 vaccine gives America a chance to lead the world again. Just keep Big Pharma out of it. Interesting comment. That's a commentary. Let's see here. Other comments or headlines, if there's anything. Of course, the impeachment trial is ongoing, so that's the show over there. Businesses really don't care. Dow gains reversed as investors await the speech from the Treasurer Fed Chief Powell. That's why the markets aren't going anywhere until after he finishes speaking, and we'll see what happens there. Okay, that is some of the latest news apparently on what's going on. It's a quiet day today generally. It's not a wacky, wild, scary day on the markets. GameStop, $49.89, down 42 cents a share. $49.98 over here, down 33 cents a share. It's not doing anything. I mean, it's just, it had a $10 shot though. I mean, you know, from low of the day to high, from 46 to 57, $10, $11 shot, 10.7 million traded. It's quiet again, but I think that there's more upside surprises for the stock than downside surprises, but we'll see how that all works out. Alrighty. Where else are we at here? Gore's Holdings, 1607, down 62 cents. Virgin Group, 1394, buy territory there, down 80 cents. That's a good steal now. And AMC up 14 cents only, 564. Bed Bath Beyond up only a quarter at 27.36. Not much going on. The cruise stocks are up. Carnival bonds today. Carnival bonds today were given 4 notches below junk. 4 grades below junk status Carnival shares up 12 cents a share today. There's a disconnect between the shareholders of Carnival, the bankers of Carnival, and the reality of Carnival. It's incredible. 21.16. Norwegian up 28 cents to 24.36. And Royal Caribbean up 82 cents to 69.71. All overpriced by a bunch. But you just cannot shake people out of these stocks. I don't know why. I don't know why people want to pay that kind of price. Tesla's down $36 today to 813. Not much going on there. JP Morgan only down 12 cents, trading at 15 times earnings. Very cheap, conservative, well-run, big money-making company. Walmart down $1.99. Amazon down $36 to $3,268 a share. Who else have we got here? Cisco's in the news today. They're off 245. They're under a bit of pressure today, probably earnings pressure, I suppose. A lot of talk about people working from home for an extended period of time. Bad news for Cisco because Cisco is in the server business for big offices. And right now, people working from home. So that might be perceived as negative news. Apple down 54 cents. No big whoop there. NVIDIA up $14.85 a share to $585. What else is going on here? Any other stocks? Disney down 98 cents to 187. Way too high for this guy's comfort. Way too high. American Airlines 17.44 unchanged on the day. Google down $6.90 a share to 2,076. Kind of waiting for them to do a stock split. I'm wondering why they won't do it. Netflix down 83 cents to 558. Nothing to get excited about there. DoorDash up 13.59 to 201. And Airbnb up $7 to 206. I do not know why people are getting excited. I don't know. There's talk here and there, but DoorDash trading at 201, which is not its high, 256 all-time high, but their market cap for DoorDash, $64 billion. What assets do they have? If you sold all the assets that DoorDash has, what do you got? Nothing. Nothing. They don't own buildings. They don't own factories. They don't own gold. They deliver food from restaurants to your house, to your office. They're delivery. This is a delivery service for food, trading at these kinds of numbers. They do not make money. They don't have a PE multiple. They're valued at $63 billion. GameStop, I keep coming back to this. GameStop has got a $3.5 billion market cap at $50 a share. $3.5 billion market cap. They've got 5,000 stores, $8 billion in sales, and they're going to become an online company that's actually going to make money. They're going to actually make profits. DoorDash doesn't make profit, and they're a $64 billion market cap. Is there something wrong with this picture? Is there something not adding up between one and the other? Yeah, I think so. Airbnb at $205.69 a share, the all-time high, $216. It's very close to its high. $122 billion market cap. What do they own? Nothing. They don't. Do they own resorts? No. Do they own hotels? Nope. Do they own your house when you rent it out? Nope. It's your house. It's your apartment. It's your condo. These guys are a booking company. They only book accommodation for people. They don't own any physical anything. They don't have land. This is all cash flow generated potential company. They make no earnings right now. They don't make a profit right now. They're a big generator of cash flow. Give them that. Same with DoorDash. A lot of cash flow. They don't make any money. People are prepared to pay $204 a share for Airbnb with a $122 market cap that has no assets. There you go. Now, what assets does GameStop have? Well, they've got cash registers and counters and something. It's worth nothing. Their stores are all rented, so they don't own the building the stores are in. I'll grant you that. They do own their inventory and they do own their warehouses. They do own all of that asset, but that's nothing serious. GameStop will trade on cash flow as well. They will trade on their sales ratio, profit margins, lower expenses, all those good things. GameStop used to own their head office. They used to own their warehouses. They used to have a corporate jet. They sold all that off. Their head office and their warehouses in Texas, Mississauga, Ontario, Australia, I think in Europe, sold them all, turned around and leased them, long-term 10-year leases. So now they just pay rent for what they need. And they got the cash in. I think they brought in $40 million cash, paid down debt, sold the jet, paid down debt. If they need a private jet, they'll rent one if that's what they need one for, but they don't need one right now. They will offload 5,000 stores over the next 2 years and say goodbye to 5,000 individual leases, 5,000 individual managers running these stores, all the assistant managers, all the day staff. They'll offload all that payroll, all that overhead, all those business taxes, all those mall charges, all the common area expenses that malls charge, all the bylaws and safety laws and fire inspections. They'll get rid of all that for 5,000 properties, and their lives will become a lot simpler to run. And they can offload people handling all that through their head office, and they can then direct their energy from that to online selling only, and then they can work a global system there. And that's what GameStop's going to do. Will they trade at $121 market cap, $121 billion market cap like Airbnb, or will they have a market cap like $62 billion for DoorDash, a food delivery company? Maybe. If they did, if they went from a $3.5 billion value to a $35 billion value, the stock would be a lot higher than it is right now. It's at $50. There's 70 million shares outstanding times $50 a share. It's a $3.5 billion company. There you go. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Very interesting. Okay, we'll keep following it all. Those are some of the other stocks out there and how they're doing and what they're trading at. Remember, Amazon is an e-commerce company, and it's worth $1.6 trillion market cap. 1.6 trillion. Chewy, last I saw, was 40-something billion. So GameStop is the cheapest, potentially the cheapest e-commerce company with the kind of sales they have out there in the street by far. And we're waiting for certain influencers like me and others to mention it more than not. And I'm mentioning it, but I don't have 1 million subscribers. But if you guys could get me to 1 million subscribers, I'd appreciate that. We'll spread the word. Kieran, thank you for this donation. GameStop's institutional ownership is 162%. How is that possible? And is the short interest calculated using institutional ownership at 162%? I don't know about 162% ownership. I'm not sure how that can be. There's only 70 million shares out there, and there are 22 million shares shorted. So there's 92 million shares out there. 20 million are held by insiders. So that really means there's only 70 million, out there that really are not held by the owners of the company and directors. And so this 162% number, I don't know where that comes from, because that would mean there was even more shares in existence than there is. I don't know how that can be. But I do believe that there's a strong short interest out there, definitely. And that's why I'm convinced there could be up surprises, up moves on the stock much more easily than down moves, because we're now at $50. Rambo, hi Bruce, can you please tell me your opinion on investing in Pokemon cards? I'm new to the game and I don't know which ones are worth trading. Yeah, oh man. There was a time I owned a retail store back in the 90s, early 90s. I had a sports card and comic book shop that I ran for a little while. And I had some young kids working for me, which I found entertaining. I was 30-something at the time, in between projects. And it was a wacky market. I mean, it was crazy. The values went up for all these sports cards, and then they came crashing down. Law of supply and demand finally caught up with that business. Pokemon cards came out in the mid-90s, just after the early 90s, into the mid-90s. And they've had a following ever since. But in the last couple of years, especially in the last year with COVID, a lot of people have discovered that certain Pokemon cards and Magic cards and other cards have really risen in value, because a lot of people who are stuck at home decided to take a look at their collections. They haven't looked at their cards that they had in the basement for years, because when the market crashed out and they got married and they had children, they forgot all about their cards, and now they're stuck at home and laid off. And after the second, third month of being at home for a while, you start kind of walking around your house and looking at your stuff, and people were kind of refamiliarizing themselves with these items. I cannot tell you anything about this merchandise. Thank you for the donation on PayPal, Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. I cannot tell you what to do on Pokemon cards. No, I cannot say a thing. You got to go and Google this stuff and look it up yourself, and just go online, look up eBay for Pokemon cards for sale. If you have any, see if any of the cards you have are worth anything. Do some Google searching on what kind of Pokemon cards have any interest these days, and you got homework to do. That's another entire world that you've got to look into, and I cannot help you. But I do have 60,000 cards in my basement if anyone's interested, and I have 5,400 comic books if anyone is interested in a buy of some comic books from my store days from the early 90s. But unfortunately, those cards and those comics were heavily produced. Although I do have a Spider-Man #1 comic. What's that thing called? Oh, I keep forgetting. Spider-Man and something else comic that came out as a #1. And I had seen it at $100 value on eBay from time to time, but I haven't followed it in such a long time. I lose interest. But I have boxes of the stuff downstairs if anyone's interested. Jennifer would really be happy if I got that out of here. Anyway, there you go. Let's read this comment here. Only slightly biased. When your quick in and out GameStop investment becomes a long-term play, thank you very much. Yeah, well, like I say, I've been talking about GameStop since last summer. Then I talked about it in the fall, and then through the winter, and through this whole run, and I'm still talking GameStop. I'm consistent. I'm still talking about the story as a long-term story, corporate story. The stock got ahead of itself, got ahead of the company for sure. Now it seems to be settling in here. This could be the new normal, and whatever bounces happen from here. Comic books with Bruce. That's right. Perfect condition. Oh, yeah. A1 condition. Why is Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares valued at such a price? They never did a stock split. They eventually came out with a Class B share that was 1/10 of the other share, something like that. I think it's silly that Berkshire never did stock splits. But, the Oracle of Omaha has his ways. And in his way of doing things, he left those Berkshire Hathaway shares to just appreciate and appreciate and appreciate. And I think what he was after was loyalty of investors. And there are a lot of people out there that have always only held one share of Berkshire Hathaway stock and have for decades enjoyed the growth to where it is now. But I think a lot of people miss the boat because they just can't get in. They just can't get in. But you can buy mutual funds that own it. So, there's other ways to enjoy an investment in Berkshire Hathaway, but not directly, because to buy one share is an absolute fortune. All right. Do you know why the GHVI is down? Do you know that, Bruce? Yes, it is down because it had a really crazy run the last 2 days. The announcement came out. The shares were around $14, $15. They went to $20 last night in the aftermarket. Now they're settling down. As the days go by, this will settle back down, and you might get a chance to get into this stock at under $16 a share. And if you do, I would take the chance. Virgin, the Virgin Group Acquisition Corp, it went up to $18 odd a share. It's now back to $14.09. It was just under 14 a little while ago. It's back to $14.09. This is buy territory here as well. Okay. Bruce feeds on the likes. He loves those likes. We have right now 1,900 thumbs ups on this show from all of you who are here with me today. 2,600, almost 2,600 of you are here right now, and we have 1,900 likes. If any of you can throw me a thumbs ups, please do so. These thumbs ups make a huge difference, as I keep saying, to the analytics, and I thank you. If you forgot, I'm reminding you, it's time to hit the thumbs up button for Bruce, please. Bruce is begging you, and we'd love to break the 2,000 barrier and go from there. Right now, 1,900 thumbs up. There it is, 2,000. We did it. You guys are awesome. Thank you for bringing in those thumbs ups. Keep them coming, guys. I know there's probably 1,000 of you here who haven't been here all the time, and maybe we can get 300 or 400 in here. That would be fabulous. Thank you, everybody, for that. Smash the thumbs up button for Bruce. I love it. Thank you. Dude, is the market crashing? Dude, is the market crashing? Well, the Dow is down 7. No. S&P down 9 points. No. NASDAQ 95 points on the downside. Hardly a crash. Not even a percentage point. Oh, no, the market's not crashing. Comment here and donation from I have no idea what I'm doing. When buying into an ETF, how important should I consider the dividends they offer? Also, are there any ETFs you like for long-term holds? I don't have a list of ETFs myself. No. The type of ETFs. Well, I would say that if you're you're a small, medium-sized investor and you want to build a portfolio, but you don't want to have to guess any particular stock, but you kind of like Facebook and you like Apple and you like Google, the alphabet company, you like Amazon. Well, those are FANG stocks, the big FANG stocks. You can buy ETFs that follow the FANG stocks, that follow the high-tech, the social media type companies. You like YouTube's potential? That's Google. They own that. Then you can pick up ETFs that follow those investments. You'll do a Google search and just type in there FANG stock ETFs, something like that, a generic search like that, and you may find that there are 5, 10, 20 different ETFs that you can look into, run by various entities from Fidelity to others and Vanguard and others. And then you'll do your homework on those ETFs to see which of those are the best rated or have performed the best in the last little while. Do they pay a dividend or not? If so, what kind? And then open up a platform account, open up an account with Fidelity or TD Ameritrade, or if you dare, with Robinhood or Charles Schwab. And if you're allowed to buy ETFs through their platforms, you got to do your homework. Then start investing and just start acquiring as each month goes by. Throw some more money in there, build a little amount of that, and you're in the market. And you might be involved in 100 different stocks, 20 different stocks, 80 different stocks, 200 different stocks. Let them professionally manage it for you, and enjoy the show. Yeah, and follow me and see how things go. And you're in the market, and you can sleep at night. Okay. I'm interested in your Pokemon. How kind of content? I don't have any Pokemon cards. I have sports cards. I have baseball, football, hockey, basketball. I have about 60,000 cards left over from my store that I used to run in Calgary when I used to have 2 million cards in inventory. I have about 60,000 left in giant boxes in the dark downstairs, all nice and safe and protected. And I have about 5,000 plus comic books also in boxes, still in their wrapper, all looked after, ready to go. But I can't remember the title of that one comic book I have. Jen, do you remember? I have that one #1 comic from Spider-Man. Is it Punisher? Is it or,
it's an Amazing Spider-Man.
No, it's not an Amazing Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man and that blue-colored guy, Venom. Oh, Spider-Man Venom #1. Isn't that it? I have that one. I can't remember. Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man with Venom. It was an 8 comic book series. I think it was an 8-parter, and I've got #1. I got a bunch of those. And there was some value to those, apparently. I used to buy a bunch of these #1 comic book issues when they were available to us. I'd buy 500 #1s. And then I would have in my store the most #1s of any one comic available in anyone in town. And people would come in, and my regulars would buy their copy. And then I would have maybe I'd have 350 left over because I had 150 regular clients who bought the first 150 comics. And then within a week or two or three, some of these #1 issues would double in price in the aftermarket. And now I would offer these at $10 each when they were trading at $3 each, just like a stock. And if they went higher, I would offer them up even higher. And then when I closed the store down, I think I had 70,000 comics just before I closed my store. I may have had 20,000 comics when I shut the store down. I now have 5,400 left, and including about 120 of these #1s I have left. And I think they're worth $100 each, just my hunch. But I haven't done any homework on it. So that's what I've got. If you want them, let me know. Darwin, do hedge funds actually pay people to fearmonger? Yes, they do. GameStop chat on Webull is nonstop fear-mongering campaign to get people to get out. Seems odd to me. Oh, this is the game. Oh yeah, they have people who have websites. They've got people who run blogs. These folks get paid to at the hedge funds bidding under the table quietly. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not paid by anybody to be here except you guys. I get donations. I get YouTube advertising money. I get premium money from YouTube for those of you who pay 10 or 12 bucks a month not to get ads. I get some of your money for every minute you're with me. That's how I earn my keep. I don't own any stock. I'm not long. I'm not short. I'm not paid by anybody to talk about stocks. I'm doing this on my own free volition, and I'm enjoying it. And I love the freedom to speak my mind. But absolutely. Oh, yeah. There are those who also pay to promote the good stuff. But right now, GameStop, there's a lot of shorting out there, 26 million shares, or 22 million, I guess. There used to be 70. And so a lot of people have been slamming the stock as a dog, as a get out. You know, you're an idiot if you own this stuff. Funny how it's not going to 20 bucks, huh? Isn't that funny? Is it funny? Kind of funny, haha? Or is it funny? Yeah, I think it's funny. Right now, 50.78, up 47 cents. Kind of stopped falling, hasn't it? Interesting. Yes, very interesting. Very interesting. Free speech, says Ice Tangent. Yes, it is. Purchased free speech. That's what it is. Stonkmaster Bruce, Spaceman Race, thoughts on MTCH merging with HyperConnect. No idea who that is. MTCH. Let me go over here and punch this in. MTCH. Who's that? What is it? MTCH. Is that Match Group? Is that what they are? $167 a share. I'm going to buy a South Korean social media company for $1.7 billion. I have no comment on it. I have no knowledge of it. I have no expertise on it. And so anything I tell you would be a guess. And I don't want to be in the guess business. It's just not worth my while. Anyway, there you have it. The Dow is up 40 points. It's been whipsawing a little bit here. The Dow just in the last little while was actually higher. What's going on? Is that right? Am I missing something? What's going on with the Dow? It's up 27 points. I'm sorry. No, that it was not whipsawing. I was looking at another chart. Sorry. Dow's up 28. S&P up down 5. NASDAQ down 70. So the one market is up, two are down. We got a mixed market right now here on the stock exchange. Welcome to another typical day of markets going up, markets going down. GameStop 51.69, moving up again this morning on only how many shares? GameStop trading now 12 million shares. Very light compared to the 200 million a day. We were doing 100 million a day, 12 million, but it's up on the day. Interestingly, light volume, it's up. I think the bounces are going to be higher rather than bounces lower, just from a law supply and demand. That's what I'm seeing here. 51.37, 51.51. Very good. Thank you, GameStop, for settling down and allowing us to, relax, not panic so much. That's a better thing. Let's see here. Anybody wants to know about my sports cards or my comic books, send me a private email, brucefrommert@hotmail.com, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it through the email if you like. Thank you to Patricia Masney. Thank you for your donation on my PayPal account earlier today. Also, where are we here? Again, thank you, Megan, for having made a donation to me. Megan Haggard, thank you. Also to Jose Valeneda, thank you. And then also from Richard Pitt, thank you for your donation today from Athens, Georgia. Beautiful. Thank you for that donation today on the PayPal accounts. These have come through today. The link is above in the chat here. Thank you guys for all of your donations, whether they're super chats, super stickers, you name it. Let's see, WHRD. Bruce, I super chatted. I forgot to ask you my question. What is your opinion on Kratos, Kratos security? KTOS, they've been trending up every year. Is it worth buying into? Don't know anything about them. I've never heard of them, so I have no idea. KTOS, let me punch this in here for a quick quote. $31.90 apparently is the price. Defense and Security Solutions Incorporated. The company apparently provides mission critical products, services, and solutions for the United States national security priorities. Its products include microwave electronic products, satellite communications, modular systems, and rocket support operating. The company was founded in 1994 and is headquartered in San Diego. So this is the kind of company that is dealing with the U.S. Defense Department and perhaps other entities that deal with the United States government. And I have no opinion on the company. The 52-week range, $5 for the low, $33.26 for the high. Market cap, $4 billion, 22 million shares in existence. Public float of 113 million shares, and there's only 4% short. So it's a stock that is not being targeted by short sellers. It is not likely a very popular trading stock. The volume today only 678,000, so it's not a hot trader when it comes to the hottest stock on the street. And so it's one of those you got to be into that kind of business to understand it. Doubt it would be a takeover target, although you never know. No opinion. I can't tell you what it'll do. No idea. Anyway, Bruce, any idea on the sub $14 pricing on the Virgin Group acquisition company this morning? What do you think about that? Stocks go up and stocks go down. This one here touched 1381 ever so briefly. It's right now 1401, 73 cents on the downside. The street knows what's going to happen with this company, but it is not being promoted every hour of the day, 24 hours a day right now by any media, because the announcement came out last week. It had a little run, and now it's gone quiet again because keys are being shook elsewhere. People's attention are elsewhere. This company is in the middle of a bunch of paperwork right now to merge with 23andMe. So all those folks in the two companies are up to here with lawyers, auditors, filing requirements, disclosure requirements. They're busy right now. They can't promote the stock. This is your chance for people who are impatient. There are impatient people out there who wanted it to go to $50 right now. It's not happening. This is your chance to get in, nibble at it, take a position, and sit back and wait 3 to 6 months to see what they can do for you. GVHI, Gores Holdings, is now under $16, $15.98. That stock was $20 last night in the aftermarket after the reaction of their announcement of a merger with Matterport. This stock under 15 is buy territory. Same reason, exact same reason as the Virgin deal. I like this. I like this arrangement that's coming up. I like this merger. They're busy too with paperwork, so you might get a chance under 15. You might not, but right now, $15.92. It's down from yesterday. GameStop 52.27 up in $196 a share. What's happening? Is it taking another run like it did this morning? Or is it just a little bounce? 52.27, 52.91, $53. GameStop is coming up again. Let's see what's going on. Am I saying it's a fire sale? No, it's not a fire sale.
It's just fluctuating. That's what stocks do. Get used to it. This is normal. It's doing what it should be doing. It's fluctuating. Over 53 now, 53.63. The comments are coming in. GameStop, people are noticing it. Bruce, it's going up. It's going up. VGAC, 13.94, coming down. There's deals here. AMC, over $6 a share at 603 right now. There's a positive vibe in the market. The Dow is up 15, up 17 now on the Dow. S&P is coming back up. It's only down 6. NASDAQ down 74. It's improved a little bit. There's some money flowing back into the market that is working for the market. We'll see how this plays out. GameStop, 52.86, 53.35. It's in a various number of spots here. It's running around. It's better. It's definitely better. Alrighty, I've got 21 minutes left to go in this morning's session with you. Then I'm going to shut this down, get a rest, and I'll be back on this afternoon, 1 hour before the bell comes this afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern, for 2 hours in the afternoon session. So we'll stay on top of all the stories and all the events and what's happening, and let you get a rest from me, and let me get a rest from you. Let's see what happens. Macroism. Stock markets with Bruce. Speaking of IPOs and where they are today, what are your thoughts on Peloton, their growth, and where they sit today? Well, I don't have a quote on Peloton handy here, but Peloton has been a star stock. It's been a favorite of day traders because, of course, many of us who work from home now are exercising from home now, but we don't want to do it on an exercise bike in the basement by ourselves. So we bought a Peloton unit and connected it to the internet, and we've got a screen, and now we're exercising on a bike with other people, trainers. It's an exciting concept. It's a new thing. Is it a fad? Will it all bottom out by the end of this year? Once we're all vaccinated, will we forget about Peloton and then go to the gym? Or will we do both? Will we do Peloton and do the gym? Or will we do Peloton at the gym? There's that question. There may well be gyms opening up with Peloton machines, with Peloton trainers. I don't know. There could be all kinds of potential here. Peloton yoga exercises and stress relief exercises. There's a lot of potential for Peloton to take it to another level. I just don't know financially, how that'll work out, how many people will buy into that concept going forward past the pandemic. That is the big question. And you know what? Time will tell. Maybe the easy money has been made on Peloton. Maybe not. I don't know. Stonks Doctor, GameStop, 65 by the end of the day today, 125 by the end of the day tomorrow, and 220 by the end of the day Friday. How about that for GameStop? Sounds good to me. I don't know if it's going to happen though, but it sounds pretty good. Hit the like button. It helps Bruce. Thank you for mentioning that out there. The likes now, 2,100 likes. We really should be at 2,500, but we are at 2,100. I thank all of you for coming on in there. Thank you, all of you, for joining into the party and helping this channel get exposed to the world at large. The more exposure we get on YouTube, the more exposure we get on Google, the more exposure we get on Google, the more exposure we get on Twitter, we get on Reddit. We get people from around the world finding this channel who come on in here and will follow the recommendations and ideas of the stocks we're talking about, including your GameStop. So yes, if you can throw thumbs ups my way, 2,200 so far have come in. That helps GameStop followers and potential followers. You never know. And any other stocks we talk about here. So folks, the more the merrier to add to the momentum of this channel, I say. That's just this YouTuber speaking. That's what they tell me at YouTube, and I believe them. Dave, as a kid, I pulled a first edition Charizard from my first pack of Pokemon cards. Got stolen at school. Stings again with the recent Pokemon card explosion. It's sad, isn't it? KK, Hey, Uncle Bruce, can you give your email again for your comics, please? Watching from Berlin. Bruce Frommert. I'll do this. So wait a minute, I got it right here. I got it right here. Don't I have it right here? Hang on a second. Oh, I thought I have it. Oh, I thought I had that. Oh gosh darn it. Okay, hang on a second. I'll do it right now. I will do this. You'll see it right now. Hang on. This is so exciting. On the fly. Here we go. All right, here we go. If you want to send me an email, guys, here's my email address. There it is right there. And I will put that right there on the bottom. Let's scroll it. There it is right there. There's my email address. If you want to send me an email and you want to talk to me about comic books that I have or cards, I'll be happy to talk to you about that. Those of you who want to sponsor this channel or you want to do a brand deal, there you go. That's how you call me. That's how you get a hold of me. Just don't send me junk stuff, please. But thank you, everybody, for following me and hanging out. And there you go. There's my email. Fantastic. I did go to Berlin, Germany back in 2015. I took some of my comics with me, and I went to a couple of comic book stores in Berlin. I had 2 weeks on my very, very own, and I had taken about 10 comic books with me to see if they had any value over there. And I was showing off these different comics, and there were a couple. I met about 5 comic book store, entrepreneurs, and great people. They were really kind to me, polite, spoke English, and I spoke broken German, and we we got along. And I met a couple of guys at one store, and they were looking up at their computer system, and I would hold up this. I got this one. Is it worth anything? And they would type into their computer. The last time we had one of these in our store was 8 years ago, and it sold for $8. What else you got? Well, I got this one. Well, the last time we had one of those in our store was 12 years ago, and we sold it for $2. What about that one? Oh, the last time. And I had a couple comics that had some value, but not enough to get them excited. But this is 2015. It's now 2021. 6 more years. They're that much older, and like I said, I do have some that are number ones. I have a number of number one issues of comics. Maybe they have some value to some of you out there. Maybe they don't. I would be more than delighted to cut a deal to offload some of these. Jen would be so happy if I could do that. What do we got here? We have Dharmendra Singh. Mike Hawk is sofa king hard, just like my diamond hands. Well, there you go. That's a disturbing comment. Bruce, is it from Mert or where's Mert? Did we get that right? Frommert. 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 Yep. Frommert. That's the spelling of my last name at hotmail.com. By all means, please do send me a comment if you like through my email right there. All righty. Thank you, everybody, for that. Where am I? Back to comments. Moving on here. What do we got going here? We're at 52.40 on GameStop, by the way, and it is up a couple of bucks on the day. No downside issues to worry about. It looks like right now. Bruce is Ron Burgundy, says Eric. I'd like to be as rich as the actor who does it, Will Ferrell. I'd like to be that rich. Wouldn't that be something? Don't do this. Don't do this, Uncle Bruce. I'm not sure what someone's asking me here. Don't do this to Uncle Bruce, says somebody. Whatever that means. Let's go here. How do you become a professional trader? How do you become? You got to have experience. You're going to need to get into the securities business, and you're going to somehow find a way to become a janitor at a firm or a grunt, and then work your way in. That's a ways to go. Bruce needs 200 more subscribers to reach 50,000 subscribers. Where are we now? 49,840. We're only 160 subscribers away from the coveted 50,000 level. That is awesome stuff. Guys, thank you for subscribing and coming on board here. Love it. 2,300 thumbs ups on this live show. We have 2,500 loyal fans watching here. This is beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Very much appreciate that. GameStop 5086 backing off again, jumping around. It's what it's going to do. We've been on the air 2 hours, 48 minutes, got 12 minutes to go. And then Jen and I are going to rub our hands together and cook up something for breakfast to see what's going on. Unless Jen has already eaten and she's leaving me in the lurch. I don't know. She can be that way sometimes. You just gotta be on her good books. Otherwise you're in big trouble. The sun is rising. As you can see, it's reaching my forehead here. The sun is breaking the mountains around us. We're surrounded by mountains here, and it's a sunny day, but it's a cold day in Creston today. We're only going to reach a high of about 19 Fahrenheit. It is 7 Fahrenheit right now, and the sun is shining. Tomorrow, sunny day, high of 12. Friday, sunny day, high of 16. Overnight low, -2 Fahrenheit. A bit cool. But by Sunday and next Monday, back to 25 and then up to 36 degrees next week. So that's normal around these parts. Can't wait for that. Again, thank you, everybody, for following me today and sending me messages and comments and all this. I'm trying to do as many as I can. Bruce, my girlfriend, we eat breakfast with you every day. Much love from sunny Florida. Thanks, you guys. Greetings from Creston to Floridians. Man, you got it good down there for the temperature. I'll tell you that. Absolutely. Michigan feels that cold right now, really cold. Mike, we'll see you later, buddy. Thanks, Mike. Eric, thank you, Eric, for everything. Unky Bruce, what are your thoughts on nuclear energy? No thoughts on that deal. Know anything about it. Let's see. Why do you get so early? Why do you get up at 4:20? It's 4:21 in London. Why are you up so early? I'm up at 4 o'clock my time. So that would be what, midnight your time? Is that when I'm up? 8 hours maybe? Yeah, yikes. Right now, London, it's early there. Or is it late there? I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm up at noon your time. Yeah, I'm up at 4 in the morning. It's noon your time. What are you complaining about in London? Trying to keep track of the timing here. Michael, Bruce, will the U.S. dollar cease to be the world's reserve currency? Why is the price of gold so low despite Fed printing and China-Russia stockpiling? Gold is a non-interest bearing item. There's a lot of gold out there. People keep thinking gold is a rare commodity. It's not. It's not a rare commodity at all. With cryptocurrency now coming into vogue, that's going to keep gold down as well. People are buying Bitcoin and investing in that and other cryptos versus the metals. Buying a gold coin is a dumb idea, a total loser of an idea. Buying gold on ETFs at least gives you something, or buying gold stock like gold mining companies that pay a dividend is at least something to get some money back while you're holding it. But yeah, there's a lot of money being printed right now, and gold is just not surging in price, is it? It's just not taking off. Gold is not doing great. 1838 an ounce is not going anywhere from what I can see here. The Dow is up 32, S&P down 2.3, NASDAQ up down 43. The markets are coming around again. Interesting to see that. GameStop at 50.98, up 67 cents. And we'll see how it does here for a few hours before I come back on again. Got 8 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go on this show before I pack it in. Thoughts on coal stocks? No thoughts on coal. No. Coal is a dead-end investment, in my humble opinion. Myron, thank you for your donation on PayPal. Just saw it coming through. I appreciate that. Virgin Group at 14.12 a share, under 13 for a little while. Now 14.12. That's buy territory. Gores Holdings GHVI 16.56 a share, under 15. I'm really interested. Under 15 or like under 16, but into the low 15s. That would be a good price for that deal, I think. AMC under 6 to 5.94. Bed Bath & Beyond up $1 now, 28.13. That's kind of a higher level now. And then BlackBerry down 37 cents, at 1306. Not doing much today. All right. Let's see here. Bill Ackman's SPAC. What are my thoughts on that? We got a premium to it with no deal. I'm not interested in that deal at all. I want to hear what the deal is, but I don't know. That might be too far already. I'm not so sure about that. We'll see. D. Gray, Bruce, Monster Manager. Thank you. What stonk should I buy with my life savings? Yeah. What do you mean by that? What are your life savings? If you're talking about life savings, you haven't even got $1,000. There's no way you've got more than $1,000 because that's how people talk when they talk about this is my life savings. What do I do? Do you have credit card debt? Pay it off. Do you owe money on a car? You behind in payments? Make the payments. You don't have life savings. Don't know if there's a stock for life savings. That's a flipper talking to me. That's not an investor. I don't think. I apologize if I'm wrong, but my hunch is this is just a flipper looking for some hot tip, and I don't have anything like that for today. And what else is going on? Aluminum stock, no thoughts. Don't care. I'm not interested. There's just no shortage of that. Yeah, Supersonic. Uncle Bruce, any insight on the Palantir deal? They partnered with IBM. That was a couple of days ago. That's a long-term arrangement, but I don't have an opinion on the deal either. And IBM as a stock has been a tough one for a long time. IBM right now is $122 a share, up 33 cents, and 52-week high and low, 155 for the high, 90 for the low during the March flush out after the COVID thing. It was a buy there. IBM was a buy down at 90, but it only recovered back into the 120s, 130s, and didn't do much else. But still, I mean, that was a gain. That was a 50% jump. But there were all kinds of deals in March when the market crapped out. Of course, you've got to sometimes have your gunpowder ready to go. Anyway, there you have it. Palantir. I just can't give an opinion on it because I'm not really into that deal at all. Let me go back to the markets. Where are we at here? GameStop 50.92, the one we follow the most. It's up 60 cents a share. Volume on GameStop today, 13.5 million shares, very calm. And it did hit a high of 57.80. It might do it again. Was as low as 46.55. It might not do that anymore today because it seems to have a good little head. It's got a good little run here. It's a stair pattern. It's definitely moving up as the day wears on. Here's an interesting chart. Here's a 3-month chart on GameStop. Look at that. Whoa! But look where it is now versus where it was. It was in the 16 range, 12 range, $11 range, $14, $15, $20 range before the shot. Took the shot, is now 51, and does not seem to want to come back to those levels it was at before. It's running into too much buying power. That's an interesting thing to watch. Isn't merging with a dinosaur like IBM a bad sign? They're not merging. They're making a business deal. They've made an arrangement. There's a partnership in a cloud computing something deal, which is good for IBM and good for Palantir or whatever they're called. But I don't know how good. And I don't know how long this deal has to go before there's a payoff. Is this an ongoing deal that will run years and years? If so, could be good for both stocks. Hopefully will help IBM attract clientele, corporate clientele. Hopefully for Palantir, it'll help them grow their cash flows dramatically and go from there. So that would be the deal there. All right. Red Hat merged with IBM. And RH Engineers bailed. Interesting. Yeah, Red Hat engineers bailed. But that Red Hat deal was good for IBM. They need more of that kind of stuff. But the IBM culture, that stifling corporate structure of the last 100 years is holding back innovation over there. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what the solution is for IBM. They might have to sell off divisions and really reinvent themselves. But they've got their brick and mortar. They're a brick and mortar software cloud computing powerhouse that they're into a business that's pretty solid. And so I don't know. Palantir has far superior tech. IMB just smarter to partner up with them, or IBM just got smart to partner up with them. There you go. Has Bruce talked about the new SI numbers on GameStop? We did. The new numbers are now 21.4 million short interest for GameStop, representing 41.9%. Over on AMC, 37.7 million shares shorted, which represents 66% of the free float, which is estimated at 57 million shares. Even though AMC has 287 million shares in existence, that number I find odd. Why would there be 287 million in existence and only 57 million short? Something tells me more available for float. 57 million free float. I think that number is going to rise dramatically in the next few months. And if it does, that will bring that short number way down on a percentage basis, maybe from 66 to 33%, something like that. So I'm not sure. AMC had a little pop today. It did pop to over $6, but it's now at $5.92. It's still up on the day, 43 cents. So AMC is higher. GameStop is a little higher at 50.64, and we'll see how they do. All right, it has been 3 hours since I started the show, and with that, I'm going to shut this down and get some rest for these vocal cords. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. Thank you for these thumbs ups you gave me today, guys. 2,300 at last report. If you can throw a thumbs up this way, if you're watching right now, before you head elsewhere, I would really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats and PayPal donations today, as usual. You guys are absolutely beautiful to me. I very much appreciate it. Jen and I will have a nibble now for a little bit, a little bite, and I'll keep on top of the markets for the rest of the day, see what happens, and I'll be back on 1 hour before the close at 3 o'clock Eastern time. I will be back on the air. We'll run through the last hour of the day today and the first hour of the aftermarket, and let's see what's going on. And thank you, everybody. Thank you to all these kind comments. Appreciate that from all of you. I appreciate these very much. Thank you, guys. You're great. So we'll talk to you in a little bit, and thank you again for the morning session. Have a great run for the next few hours, and we'll see you at 3 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll see what we're going to do. Okay, guys, there it is. We'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye for now from Creston.